Chapter 905, Farewell of the Princess in the Endless Gods' Domains. Those who witnessed the killing princess's final waltz were only a few evil gods who cast their gazes from the abyss. Now, there was one more person. Considered the most formidable with the power to slay gods, the king of black demon dogs, Cerberus, was struck down 13 times by the killing princess's never-ending waltz in that battle. In the end, it suffered severe injuries and retreated back into the abyss, entering a long period of slumber. That was the only defeat for this hellhound, hailed as a mythic creature. If it weren't for its undying body blessed by the power of the underworld, it would have likely turned into dust long ago. However, the killing princess, who had succeeded in killing Cerberus, the gatekeeper of the underworld, 13 times in a row, finally reached her limit. The final swirling dance step gently descended as the killing princess stood amidst the abyss, lifting her head. With the loss of Cerberus' demonic power, the endlessly dark sky finally revealed a glimmer of dawn. How long has she been fighting here? The body of the hellhound Cerberus has endless regenerative abilities. Each time it is killed, it becomes even more ferocious. Countless dark thunderbolts have struck the demonic incarnation body of the killing princess. The hellish inferno. The icy cold that freezes the soul. The lightning radiating an aura of godslaying. Even with her demon blood and flesh fully unleashed, the body of the killing princess reached its limit days ago. She killed Cerberus 13 times, forcing it into a slumber to recover. The killing princess took a full 7 days and nights to accomplish this. Humans are impossible to possess such power. Even the superior demon humans cannot face this insane hellhound Cerberus. The conditions to kill Cerberus once are extremely demanding. Its body must be thoroughly destroyed, and its 3 heads and tail must be severed. If any of these 3 conditions are not met, Cerberus' undying body will not be defeated, and it can quickly recover from any injuries. It took the killing princess 2 days to find a way to successfully kill 3-headed Cerberus. Sever the tail, decapitate, and then dismember. Only after completing these 3 stages can it be considered as killing the 3-headed Cerberus. As the guardian of the underworld, the 3-headed hellhound Cerberus naturally possesses the protection of the underworld deities. It is a mythical creature that embodies the concept of immortality. The king of black demon dogs, who acquired the true name Cerberus, also inherited most of the concepts of the 3-headed hellhound Cerberus. Its formidable undying body is the reason it is known as the god-slaying black beast. The killing princess completed 13 consecutive kills, finally banishing the 3-headed hellhound Cerberus back into the abyss, accomplishing an unimaginable feat. If the Sacred Alliance had faced the 3-headed hellhound Cerberus at that time, they would have undoubtedly been completely wiped out. This terrifying 3-headed hellhound Cerberus is the ultimate trump card used by the evil gods to attack this world. In the dark abyss, the killing princess wiped off the bloodstains on her greatsword, the real blood of mythical creatures. Just a drop of it can corrode human bodies into nothingness. However, such blood, when it dripped onto the killing princess's body, did not inflict any harm and was even absorbed by her own body. The evil gods in the abyss watched with excitement as the killing princess, who had defeated the 3-headed hellhound Cerberus, eagerly anticipated her descent into corruption. They believed that soon an unprecedented and terrifying monster would be born in this abyss. This achievement satisfied the evil gods even more than conquering this world. By sending their own minions to invade the human world and turning it into a part of the abyss, what is the purpose of the evil gods? It's not that the abyss needs the resources of this world, it lacks nothing in terms of resources. What they crave are the indescribable beings born from the distortion of the world, monstrous entities that appear only after the corruption of the world's will, which can be assimilated as supplements to the Abyss faction. After the Abyss takes over certain large worlds, it may even give rise to creatures that even the evil gods themselves would be astonished by. The 3-headed hellhound, Cerberus, was also born as the ultimate monster during an attack on the Western god's domain. In other words, the purpose of the Abyss is not plunder, but war itself. War, blood, slaughter, despair, terror, the delicacies bred from these are the true targets of the evil gods. For the evil gods, indulging in such delicacies is a carnival feast. In the eyes of the world, the invasion of the Abyss army, its corruption and destruction of the land, are all mere byproducts serving the purpose of war. Now, the killing princess is the unparalleled delicacy that has emerged in the eyes of the evil gods from this world. In order to vie for her ownership, the evil gods who initiated this demon-human war have even turned against each other. Mine, she's mine. She belongs to me. Get lost. I was the first to open this world's gateway. That sweet and delicious taste, it's amazing. Almost half of the high-ranking demon humans we sent out were killed by her. She even defeated that stupid Cerberus. How delicious must her soul and flesh be? As the evil gods brandish their tentacles, they greedily stare at the beautiful figure wiping her great sword. In the eyes of the evil gods at this moment, this beautiful figure is the most delicious food in the world, the tastiest cake that melts in the mouth and makes their whole bodies tingle. The brazen whispers were heard crystal clear by the killing princess. She had long anticipated and understood this outcome. Her body has already been infiltrated by demonic flesh, connecting with her nerves, bones, and blood vessels. The parts of her body that could be called human no longer exist anywhere. How could a human possess the power, speed, reflexes, and triple immunity to flames, frost, and thunder necessary to slay the three-headed hellhound, Cerberus? This body has long become a monster among monsters. Even the concept of a demon human is surpassed by her. Even if the strongest demon human were to appear before her, it would likely be resolved in just a few strikes. Her great sword, after devouring the blood of the three-headed hellhound Cerberus, is now ablaze with infernal flames. Ironically, while she slayed the most powerful hellish black beast, she herself surpassed the three-headed hellhound Cerberus and became an even more terrifying monster. Those fanatical evil gods have already begun eagerly reaching out to her, wanting her to become the star of the Abyss faction. I have no interest in such matters. Proudly lifting her head, the killing princess looked at the last rays of light shining on her body and smiled. Chapter 906, Her Contract. It's been a long time, sunlight. How long has it been since I last saw such radiance? So, the dark canopy shrouding her homeland was created by Cerberus. That monster, renowned as the strongest black beast, indeed possesses such terrifying power. Even after killing it 13 times in a row, she could still sense that this colossal creature seemed restricted and unable to unleash its true power in this world. There is nothing left for her to regret. Her life ends here. The legend of the killing princess comes to a close here. She didn't want anyone to see her ghastly and hideous appearance, her flesh assimilated with demon blood. Thank you. She raised the great sword in her hand, and the killing princess looked at the black patterns covering her face. This is the cursed sword that accompanies her in endless slaughter, and also her beloved sword. She still remembers how thrilled she was when she received this gift from her father on her 13th birthday. Back then, this sword didn't have the twisted appearance like it does now. It was a very splendid sword, adorned with gemstones, and its hilt was as elegant as an angel. This sword and she were a perfect match. Holding this sword, she had performed countless dazzling dance steps, earning applause for her waltz from everyone. As the dancing princess, the star of tomorrow, she used to believe so strongly that her dance steps would bring happiness to people. But that fantasy turned into a nightmare when the dark canopy descended and Cerberus emerged from the depths. Having lost everything, all she had left was this sword and dance steps that would never be appreciated again. At that time, she made a choice, a pact with a mysterious entity that no one knew about. Thus, the waltz that brought happiness to people turned into a murderous sword dance. Wherever she went, she would inevitably bring endless bloodshed, with countless demon humans falling beneath her sword. And with each demon human she killed, her power grew stronger, and her body gradually transformed into that of a demon. When she had nearly exterminated all the demon humans in the outside world, her level of demonization had reached an almost impossible to hide extent. Therefore, she eventually ventured alone into the deepest contaminated area, while she still had not fully turned into a demon, to fulfill her final mission. She didn't want the people who fought alongside her to see her in such a hideous state. Even though the end of bloodshed was her inevitable fate, she hoped the legend of the killing princess would continue. Now, I no longer deserve to wear this maid outfit. Completely demonized, she had become the utmost form of a demon. I hope that the next person to inherit this great sword maid will not repeat my tragedy. As she caressed her black maid outfit, the killing princess's gaze became gentle. This is probably the last time she is wearing this black maid outfit. She can feel the demonic flesh within her body stirring, corrupting her final shreds of sanity. This process is irreversible. From the moment she chose this path of empowerment, it became an unavoidable outcome. The mental tentacles of those evil gods are about to touch her body. It is time to end all of this. My body does not allow you to touch it. My soul will not become your sustenance. Accept it, this is my final gift to you. The princess lifted her demonic sword high, the last rays of dawn falling upon her, like a scene from a myth. Dust to dust, earth to earth, spirit to spirit, sacrifice. The great sword pierced through the killing princess's chest, impaling her heart and even piercing through the ground behind her, pinning her body to the ground. Endless azure radiance erupted from the killing princess's body, completely overtaken by the demonic flesh within her, emitting a startled roar as if witnessing something unimaginable. Boom! At the deepest depths of the abyss, a certain power completely shattered it into pieces, causing the screaming of the malevolent gods who peered into this world, their mental tentacles obliterated to bits, and even the essence within the abyss torn apart. Welcome to the world of Impermanent. From now on, forget it, you are no longer human. The sky was cut open by stripes of azure radiance, revealing the sun that had been concealed for too long. The Grand Army of the Holy Alliance saw hope and immediately mobilized, rushing towards the stronghold of the demon human. The war in this world, thanks to the sacrifice of a princess, finally reached its end. Her final achievements, known only to herself. The final waltz of the swords, now silenced. The legend of the killing princess concludes here. She sensed the determination of the killing princess in her final moments and a will stronger than anyone else's. Drenched in countless blood, she, who had become demonic, never wavered in her original intention. Even as the strongest demon, she never forgot her goal of bringing peace to this world. Legend and fame, none of those mattered to her. Everyone believed the killing princess had gone mad, losing herself in endless slaughter. Anyone who witnessed that figure of madness in slaughter would feel fear, for her killing intent had surpassed the limits of mortal imagination. In her eyes, there was no trace of human sanity, only endless slaughter could satisfy and fill her. Even her companions, the other great sword maids who followed behind her, could not understand why she was so bloodthirsty and crazed in her killing of the demon humans. She didn't even need to rest, she could relentlessly pursue and hunt down a demon human who had almost fled to the ends of the world. As she killed more and more demon humans, a certain ominous aura emanated from her body, and many people vaguely sensed the abnormality within it. Yet, no one dared to speak out because she was an indispensable sword of the Sacred Alliance, the most fearsome and powerful greatsword made. Her greatsword was the most powerful and terrifying weapon against the demon humans. Even the demon humans stronger than her fell under that exceptional magic sword. The name the killing princess became a legend, a fearsome legend, the renegade among the greatsword maids. People would never understand the price she had paid to obtain such power. What sacrifices did she make to bring about the final peace? That contract. She looked at the black maid outfit that finally fell into the abyss, finally realizing who she had made the contract with. Heavenly demon, and an impermanent one, the supreme heavenly demon not recorded in the Paranormata Vasavartin scroll. She gazed into the abyss, and the abyss gazed back at her. In the end, she also became a part of the nightmare, not as a servant of the abyssal gods, but as a transformed being of a higher order. She had become a heavenly demon. Chapter 907, the princess's true name. Even if she was destined to become a demon, she would not belong to anyone. To become the incarnation of a heavenly demon was the choice made by the killing princess herself. She killed Cerberus 13 times in a row, severely injuring numerous evil gods. The killing princess, in the name of slaughter, accomplished an unprecedented feat as a greatsword maid. Even though no one knew, she had no regrets. As time passed, the black maid outfit that represented the ill-fated destiny of the killing princess became the heirloom of the greatsword maid, passing through the hands of many. There were also those who tried to acquire the inheritance, but no one succeeded. This black maid outfit, stained with countless demon blood, including that of the mythical creature Cerberus and the blood of evil gods, was simply too much for mere mortals to bear. Until one day, a young man who knew nothing of this inheritance picked it up. The abyssal aura that clung to the black greatsword maid outfit inexplicably acknowledged this young man. The curse, mission, and tragedy that the killing princess once carried were also passed down to the young man. The young man was completely unaware of this destiny. Do I have to fight those evil gods too? And what about that big dog? This wasn't a memory of the previous owner of the black maid outfit. Yunshi really had no idea. No wonder he went into a berserk state when he saw that black demon dog on the street last time, only returning to his senses after dismembering the black demon dog. So, this black maid outfit had this kind of side effect. Whoever wears the killing princess maid outfit will inevitably fulfill the obsessions of the killing princess, entering a killing mode whenever encountering demon humans. In this world, we don't need creatures like demon humans. Only the dead demon humans are the best demon humans. And that Cerberus, kill it every time you see it. Of course, such severe side effects come with equally powerful abilities. When facing demon humans, the magic sword of the killing princess will unleash 300% of its power. When facing Cerberus, the magic sword can temporarily unleash the power of demonic flesh and blood. The more it is unleashed, the stronger the killing intent becomes. With each slaughter of a demonic creature, the power of the magic sword amplifies. Currently, it hasn't reached its limit yet. This magic sword is a god weapon with the potential to reach the level of god-slaying. Sword name Blood Waltz, a magic sword specialized in dealing with demons. Inscription on the sword, the endless waltz offered to the bloodstained princess. After understanding the origin of the magic sword and the weighty fate represented by the black maid uniform, Yunshi finally obtained the secret inheritance of this cursed greatsword maid outfit. The intertwined memories opened a door to a new world for him. It can be said that the current Yunshi is truly a greatsword maid, a divine apostle who has obtained the complete inheritance of the greatsword maid. However, the inheritance of the killing princess has long surpassed the concept of the greatsword maid system. This is the terrifying inheritance that leads to the path of the supreme heavenly demon. At the end of the path of endless slaughter, one will inevitably transform into a demonic creature, with only two choices: losing sanity and becoming a pure killing monster, or sacrificing oneself to become the supreme heavenly demon. The former allows one to retain their flesh and blood, becoming an indescribable horror monster. The latter will lose their physical body, but their soul will transform into another form, the supreme heavenly demon. Regardless of which choice, one's self will inevitably face destruction. Becoming a pure killing monster leaves no possibility of regaining sanity. Becoming the supreme heavenly demon will completely change the concept of existence, and one can no longer be called their former self. The killing princess, who was determined to seek revenge and bring peace to the world, is actually dead, killed in the final battle against Cerberus. Bathed in the faint light of the abyss, the one who chose self-sacrifice to offer their own body was merely the last obsession of the killing princess. The she who finally transformed into the supreme heavenly demon has become a being on a different level. Like a butterfly breaking free from its cocoon, the killing princess transformed into Impermanent has already forgotten the memories and her name as a human. Impermanent, without form, from the moment of breaking free from the cocoon, everything from the past dissipates, and with the birth of the supreme heavenly demon, the memories of the past shatter as well. If it weren't for the intertwining memories with Yunshi and coming into contact with her final remnant, she would have probably long forgotten her wish as a human. Now, what has become of that wish? Impermanent stands still in Yunshi's memories, recalling the history that followed. The land that was corroded by the abyss never managed to regain its original form in the end. Desolation, toxins, everywhere you look. Even though the abyss's army was repelled and peace was restored to the world, the land where people lived remained desolate. The fairies summoned their kin from another god's domain, lifting up the uncorrupted forests and the mother tree. The Holy Alliance, along with the remaining greatsword maids, began the evacuation of the survivors in that god's domain. As the star bridge descended, All the survivors in the world left the abyss-contaminated realm. People gazed longingly at their homeland, whether they were elderly with grey hair or infants held in their parents' arms, tears streaming down their faces. Everyone knew they couldn't go back, that they would never be able to return to this homeland in their lifetime. With the star bridge severed, this god's domain vanished from the star map of the endless gods' domains. After roughly 100 years, no one remembered the history or civilization of this world anymore. The living beings merged into other gods' domains and began a new life. No one remembered the name of the country the killing princess belonged to, but the legend of her being the most numerous and strongest slayer of demons carried on. In the history of the Greatsword Maid, she was recognized as the third-ranked warrior in terms of overall achievements, not including her final battle, where she was regarded as the most powerful greatsword maid in terms of individual combat prowess, the merciless and cold-blooded killing princess. It's a relatively good ending. After countless generations, Impermanent, who met her past memories by chance, smiled lightly. This is how it should be, her final wish fulfilled. Even though people had long forgotten the princess's name, and no one spoke her true name anymore, she felt content. As a human, perhaps she was a bit naive and unaware of the ways of the world, but in the end, she walked through her life without any regrets. The Black Maid uniform and the Blood Waltz found new owners and continued to fulfill the mission of the Greatsword Maid. Her life, without complaints, without regrets. At this moment, that long-forgotten name, once surrounded by flowers and enveloped in happiness, resounded in Impermanent's ears once again. The name representing the victorious goddess, the princess with an endless waltzing step, once the mightiest demon among greatsword maids, Elise. Chapter 908, Non-Equivalent Exchange. Impermanent suddenly raised her head, standing at the entrance of Yunshi town, unable to take another step forward. Why did he know her name? The quality of memory exchange is supposed to be equivalent, and as a supreme heavenly demon, her memories should be overwhelmingly superior to mere humans. It's like a balance, with one side being the divine and the other side being mortals. Regardless, the scales should tip in favor of Impermanent as a supreme heavenly demon. Why did she only see the young man being pulled by her childhood friend's hand to take the entrance exam for the Sword Palace, while he was already calling out her true name? The true name of the Impermanent heavenly demon carries a special significance, representing the memory of Impermanent's strongest heavenly demon before being a heavenly demon, or even you could say it is Impermanent's only weakness. Just like something without a fixed concept, once it is named, it gains meaning in existence. Impermanent represents boundlessness. Impermanence represents the annihilation of all things. In Buddhist terminology, the meaning of impermanent and impermanence is the ultimate state of paranirmita vasavatin, which is why only a few of the strongest heavenly demons in the heavenly demon are called impermanent. Impermanent is born from sentient beings of wisdom, and from the moment of birth, even the closest person will automatically forget Impermanent's name. Even the third ranked her in the Greatsword Maid only left behind the alias the Killing Princess. Even the fairy, Kingfisher, who once followed her, has forgotten her true name. Elise, this name, even Impermanent herself has forgotten it, because it is no longer needed. Why do you know this name? Even I myself no longer remember it. Impermanent gazes at the other side of the world, where the great sword stands in the deepest abyss, tainted by the bloody waltz of Cerberus. No, something isn't right. The amount of memory exchange between the two sides is clearly vastly different, so why is it that he knows this crucial true name before me? In the contract of the heavenly demon, it signifies that the one who holds the initiative in the contract is not the heavenly demon, but the contractee. Being known of one's true name by the other party also means that in the heavenly demon contract, the contractee's provided memory far exceeds the quality of one's own memory. This is impossible. All she sees is just the ordinary life of a 16-year-old boy, at most having a few somewhat unusual childhood friends. The world the young boy sees is so simple, peaceful. How could it possibly compare to the killing princess who has gone through endless abyssal slaughter and ultimately defeated Cerberus? Could it be that the contract believes that this ordinary 16-year-old boy's life completely surpasses her as the killing princess? This is unreasonable. Where exactly did things go wrong? If this continues, the initiative in the contract will completely reverse. She was the one who originally proposed the contract, forcibly erasing the disruptive Order God seal, and it was also her who ultimately pulled the young boy into the soul field. So why is it that she, as the supreme heavenly demon, is the one at a disadvantage in the balance of the contract? What caused the scales of the soul to completely tilt towards the other side, to the point where even her own true name was leaked? The true name Elise, which was completely erased from the world long ago when she became the impermanent heavenly demon. Therefore, Impermanent should be the strongest heavenly demon without any weaknesses. Similar to the white holy dragon with its sacred bloodline, the true name of Impermanent also possesses extremely terrifying power, being the only thing that can bind this kind of supreme heavenly demon like Impermanent. But this is your name? Yunshi blinked, looking at the girl on the side of the peaceful town where she was born, as the dawn descended from the deepest depths of the abyss through the sky. The transformation into the killing princess, now a supreme heavenly demon, made her figure even smaller than before. Time had not left any traces on her but seemed to flow backward. That appearance represented her as the youngest among all supreme heavenly demons and the latest to be born in the endless god's domains as Impermanent. My name should not be known to you. Elise. Pronouncing this name, which she almost felt unfamiliar with, Elise made up her mind. Time, flow backward. She wanted to see where exactly, at which point in time, the positions of both sides on the balance of souls had been completely reversed. The ability to go against the flow of time and observe the past is a true domain of gods. Even for Elise, a supreme heavenly demon, casting this spell would come at a great cost. But not doing so is not an option, otherwise the initiative of the contract would be completely in Yunshi's hands. She needed to know what exactly she had seen that caused the complete imbalance of their souls. Vaguely, she had a premonition that she was playing with fire. However, she had absolute confidence in her impermanent body. No one can make a supreme heavenly demon commit the same mistake. They are the highest beings naturally positioned at the pinnacle of the heavenly demon. In the first year, Yunshi was taken in by his current foster parents. The second, third, fourth year, nothing out of the ordinary happened. The 9th, 10th, 11th year. No clues could be found, except for meeting those childhood friends. The 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. It all seemed like an ordinary life of a small-town youth, even though the town itself was somewhat peculiar, but the boy himself was just average. His dream was nothing more than marrying an ordinary childhood friend, inheriting his family's bakery, and then having a few children to live a happy and ordinary life. How could someone like him grow to the point of being able to summon a supreme heavenly demon? His first 15 years of life had nothing to do with the words legendary, to the extent that he probably couldn't even defeat a wild wolf. Compared to his invincible childhood friend, he was as insignificant as dust under the sun. With such a tiny soul, let alone supreme heavenly demon, he was even unfit to summon an enchantress. Why would the soul of such a person outweigh her on the balance of the contract and even obtain her long-sealed true name? Elise's legend, blessed by countless people since birth. Enchanting numerous nobles at her first formal ball. Regarded as the future saint candidate when she attended the church school. Yunshi, dancing the bloody waltz, slaughtered millions of demons, ventured alone into the deepest contaminated areas, battled Cerberus for 7 days and nights, and killed the strongest black beast 13 times in a row. Sacrificing herself, she dealt fatal blows to numerous evil gods, transformed into the supreme heavenly demon, and earned the name Impermanent. Yunshi's legendary journey abandoned by unknown parents by the roadside, she was adopted by an ordinary childless couple. He met Hua Hua, a talented childhood friend from the Western God's domain, and completed her compulsory education at the public school in town. He became the owner of a bakery and formed closer relationships with her childhood friends. None. Even if he sacrifices millions or tens of millions of identical souls, his life still cannot compare to Elise's finger. The contract with the heavenly demon is based on mutual consent. The two parties of the contract will naturally achieve a dynamic balance. The monks who summon the enchantress with the Paranirmata Vasavartin scroll understand the terrifying nature of the heavenly demon more than anyone else. When summoning the heavenly demon, they are aware of the taboos involved and are cautious at all times. However, they still often lose themselves and perish. Unaware and fearless, Yunshi summoned the highest-ranked Impermanent from the endless god's domains, completely unaware of the madness of her actions. Even a highly cultivated monk who has attained the purity of the six senses and comprehended the concept of form is emptiness. Emptiness is form cannot resist the control of Impermanent. Impermanent itself is the embodiment of great liberation, representing the true form of the supreme heavenly demon that stands opposite to the position of the fruit of profound wisdom in Buddhism. Charm, intelligence, strength. Impermanent possesses the highest rank in all aspects and has no weaknesses. It is not restrained by any Buddhist supernatural powers and represents the ultimate realm of the heavenly demon. If measured on the twin witches' golden scale, the counterpart of the impermanent heavenly demon is undoubtedly a deity, and a highly ranked one, at least 8th rank or higher. The sole quality of an 8th-ranked impermanent, in the balance of the contract, unexpectedly tilted towards Yunshi's side. This is an extremely unusual situation. Even if it has to pay a tremendous price of weakness, Impermanent must find out what exactly happened. At what point in time did the anomaly occur? After the age of 15, the timeline moved forward once again. Finally, the day of Yunshi's 16th birthday arrived. This day, it's this day. Elise's whole body trembled slightly. It was a day she had once overlooked but now finally realized that something was amiss. Because on this day, a mysterious object appeared by the young boy's side. On the young boy's 16th birthday, he received an extraordinary gift. This node that she had once inadvertently overlooked, when it appeared for the second time on this day, she realized that something was wrong. Where did that golden retriever come from? How could such a magical creature exist in this small town? That flawless golden fur, accompanied by wise and beautiful eyes, clearly belonged to one of the rarest and most extraordinary creatures in the Western God's domain, the legendary golden princess with the bloodline that brings luck to people. As someone who inherited the ancient royal bloodline of the Western God's domain, she unexpectedly overlooked such an unusual occurrence. Even she, who has only seen it in the church's illustrations, had never laid eyes on a golden retriever with such pure bloodline. That legend is not unfounded. The truly pure-blooded royal golden retriever originates from the same level of mythical creature as Cerberus, the legendary magical being said to bring luck and wealth to its owner. In order to prevent the bloodline of these miraculous golden retrievers from extinction, the royal families of the Western God's domain even resorted to forbidden means, allowing a fraction of these adorable, non-aging golden spirits to survive. Without exception, they are all golden princesses, and the pure-blooded golden retriever bloodline now only remains in the female branch. Chapter 909, Night of the Stars. How could she overlook such a glaring abnormality? As a former princess of the Western God's domain, even if she had never personally held a real royal golden retriever princess, she would never overlook such a unique and more precious than gold golden spirit. Undoubtedly, it all began on this day, with the mysterious golden princess appearing beside the young Yunshi, and things started to become strange. Observation, complete observation. Standing above the river of time, Impermanent widened her eyes, while the six-eyed heavenly demon emitted a cold brilliance, recording every minute and every second of Yunshi's 16th birthday. In the morning, Yunshi rolled off the bed, accidentally hitting his head, rubbing his swollen forehead with a helpless expression on his face. It seems like he had a nightmare. Pushing open the window, Yunshi basked in the morning sun and said, "Hello, world. Happy birthday, Yunshi." Just like any other ordinary morning, an ordinary and unremarkable young boy. Preparing the bread, waiting for customers to arrive and selling the arranged loaves one by one, until that youthful voice, accompanied by the sound of bells and footsteps, arrived. "Little Shi, here's your bread." With the understanding of a pair of lovers, Yunshi gave the hidden cream-filled bread to his childhood sweetheart. "I love you to death, little Shi." Hua Hua, full of vitality, shining like the Queen of Summer, also brought light to the young boy's heart today. However, in Impermanent's eyes, the young boy didn't appear as happy as he seemed. His gaze always carried a hint of melancholy, as if a moment of parting was approaching. He was only 16, yet he behaved far more mature than his appearance suggested. Next, he began counting something peculiar. "Ms. Millie from the flower shop at the street corner is 12 this year, should be able to talk in 3 years. Miss Phyllis, the young lady from the neighboring town's gemstone shop, recently turned 17. It seemed that the shopkeeper hinted at the idea of me marrying into their family when I last visited. Yi Li, the daughter of the cake shop across the street, is also very cute. Unfortunately, she is only 9 years old this year. When the time comes, I must bid her farewell with a smile. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of hurried footsteps drew closer, and then Hua Hua, my childhood friend, skillfully kicked open the closed door as if she had practiced it countless times. Little she, I forgot something. Regarding the bread, there is none left, right? The young boy looked cluelessly at his childhood friend who had just returned. With horns continuously spinning on her head, Hua Hua's face turned red as she supported herself on her knees, panting heavily. This was definitely not due to fatigue, but from another factor, an unsettled girl's heart. It's not about the bread. What happened? It's your heart. It's your heart. You were being unfaithful just now. I heard it clearly. You were talking about Millie from the flower shop at the street corner, Phyllis from the gemstone shop in the neighboring town, and Yi Li from the cake shop across the street. You were being unfaithful. Hua Hua had an expression on her face that said, I knew you were unfaithful, don't try to deny it, as she pointed at Yunxi without a doubt. As childhood friends, her intuition allowed her to see through Yunxi's true nature. There's only one truth. How did you know? Uncle and aunt specifically reminded me to never let you become complacent. Ah. Was I caught? You idiot, you fool. I've said it countless times. You can only marry me. Hua Hua pressed her sword directly against Yunxi's neck. If you don't marry me, I'll give you a bloody ending. Especially Millie, Phyllis, and Yi Li, they are absolutely off-limit. The love troubles between the boy and the girl are always so youthful and moving. This section is fine. Impermanent frowned, although she felt that the conversation here involved many things, it had nothing to do with her. As time passed, this day gradually approached its end. Tonight is the day when the young boy crosses the boundary between being 15 and 16. Alone, the young boy closed the shop and returned to his room upstairs. He lay on his bed, looking at the starry sky. On the table near the window, a small cake emitted flickering candlelight. It was the birthday cake the young boy had prepared for himself. As time passed slowly, Impermanent's concentration became increasingly astonishing. At present, every second of Yunxi's life would be dissected by her into 60 frames, meticulously analyzed, without missing any details. Perhaps even Yunxi himself wouldn't understand the events of this 16th birthday as well as Impermanent. The turning point of the world has arrived. Impermanent, in contrast to the time when Princess Jinmao suddenly appeared in Yunxi's memory, was almost fully focused on observing Yunxi, who seemed to be already asleep. The chime of 12 o'clock, the dividing line between the past and the present, 0 hour arrives. Impermanent finally saw what she wanted to see. However, the time scale and information contained in that scene instantly caused her consciousness to enter a state of self-collapse. Why didn't she notice the anomaly at that time point, and even subconsciously ignore Princess Jinmao appearing beside Yunxi? Because what happened at that time point far exceeded what she could bear, surpassing the limits of her observation. She didn't remember what happened at that time point. It was the instinctual protection of her supreme heavenly demon that made her subconsciously avoid the possibility of observing it. When she forcibly reversed time and returned to the scene at midnight of that day in the River of Time, it brought about her own doomsday. Endless starlight, from the star bridge of the endless gods' domains, from the extraterrestrial beyond the endless gods' domains, traversed billions of light-years of distance and shone on the sleeping boy, in the gaps between dreams and reality. The amount of information brought by the brilliance of the stars, no one can bear it. That is the flow of information carried by the starry sky, it is the blessings and awakening call from the will of the stars. The Demon King cannot bear such a volume of information. Even the deities cannot receive the information from these starlights. The beautiful nebulae, the ancient star rivers, the vast star clusters, at this moment, all bring forth their voices, awakening a person. Above the serene town, a radiant starry sea is reflected. Endless brilliance descends from a distant place, bestowing infinite blessings of stars upon this small town. Endless brilliance descends from the sky, as if bestowing infinite blessings of stars upon this tiny town. The overwhelmingly vast flow of information even distorts the timescale of this world for a moment. Language and cognition. Behavior and phenomena. Mind and body. The will of the stars has arrived. Chapter 9-10. The collapsed Impermanent RRRRRRR. Impermanent pressed her forehead, and the entire six-eyes demon mask began to shatter. Cannot observe. Observation is impossible. Interpretation, incorrect. Analysis, incorrect. That is a mystery that even as a supreme heavenly demon, she is not qualified to touch. It represents the brilliance of countless world origins, the traces left by the countless stars in the sky. The will of all sentient beings appears insignificant in the face of the brilliance of those stars. The demon king and deities can't even accommodate the volume of information at this level, let alone just a part of it. Those brilliance not only represent the endless gods' domains themselves, but also carry information from beyond the endless gods' domains. Except for the children favored by the stars, no one can bear the amount of information contained in these brilliance. It contains the mysterious knowledge of countless star births, brilliance, and memories of death. They are part of the sea of stars, a magnificent entity formed by countless worlds converging, the divine radiance embodying the essence of the endless realms. With countless gods' domains and an immeasurable number of sentient beings, even the rank of the creator gods is just a fraction of the vast sea of stars, the endless gods' domains. Elise, who has not truly reached the 9th rank, lacks the qualification to observe these starlights. If it weren't for her discovery of the special marker Yunxi, she would never have noticed the traces left behind by the sea of stars in that instant. The stars are magnificent. They do not possess the concepts of darkness or light because they themselves are the essence that encompasses all concepts, the embodiment of the concept of starlit sky. The stars are also indifferent. They do not interfere in any wars, nor do they care about the destruction or death of individual stars. Because destruction, death, and rebirth are also part of the stars. The immense collection that encompasses all this information, recording and carrying everything, is known as the Sea of Stars. Within that endless stardust, who knows how many billions of pieces of information are recorded. The rise of civilizations. The birth of intelligent races. The appearance of deities. The creation of science. The connection of star bridges. No individual is qualified to bear the memories of the stars. To observe the memory capacity of the Sea of Stars from an individual's perspective is truly a futile endeavor. Unfortunately, Elise made this mistake. This has led to her existence becoming increasingly blurry. Although she has only observed fragments of starry memories, the massive amount of information is already overwhelming her physical body. After all, she is not a child favored by the stars, possessing the special privilege of being remembered by them and eventually returning, no matter how reckless her actions. Even the corporeal form of the impermanent formless heavenly demon, after touching this taboo, begins to disintegrate and head towards its demise. At this moment, the 3 upper-level heavenly demons that have been lingering in the void, waiting for the infinitely small chance, almost simultaneously noticed Elise's abnormality. Originally, they had smoothly reached the final step of the contract. Impermanent, who was about to see everything come to fruition, started trembling violently, and a large amount of black energy began to emanate from its body. What's happening? Why does it look like it's been fatally wounded? Enchantress blinked her large eyes, witnessing for the first time the self-destruction of a supreme heavenly demon. It's not just an appearance, she is truly dying. It's possible that she sustained a mortal injury even before her arrival. This was the highest possibility deduced by Saint Demon from countless improbable probabilities. However, this possibility was quite outrageous, to the point that even Saint Demon found it unbelievable. The impermanent formless heavenly demon is an immortal existence. The only possibility of its death is if its true name is known by a higher-ranking entity, which is its sole weakness. However, this weakness only exists in theory because no one knows what Impermanent's true name is. It is said that each Impermanent's true name is erased from the timeline by some mysterious force at the moment of their birth, and even Impermanent themselves won't remember it. Even if someone were to use the true knowledge prophecy, they would still be unable to know the wiped-out true name of Impermanent from the timeline. Since the birth of the heavenly demon species, there has been no record of any Impermanent's fall. They are undoubtedly the strongest heavenly demon. No one knows what Impermanent's true name is, or how to obtain their true name. However, Yunshi is an exception. Although he himself doesn't know how he did it, through an unequal exchange with the heavenly demon, he paid the price of losing his memories of being 16 and directly learned the true name of the Impermanent in front of him. Elise. It can be said that from the moment Yunshi uttered this name, Impermanent's defeat was destined. Using time backtracking to find the reasons for their failure would be a complete self-destruction. I don't care, let's go. It's really difficult for Azura to think about these questions about the rules of the world. What are we waiting for when we see a weak enemy in front of us? One word, kill. She wants to prove that even when facing the highest-ranking supreme heavenly demon, Impermanent, in the heavenly demon clan, Azura's tribe dares to fight. Wait, you fool, that's why Azura's tribe is stupid. Watching Azura rush forward recklessly, Enchantress gritted her teeth and finally stomped her foot and descended as well. She is not as foolish as Azura, but this opportunity is extremely rare. Even Impermanent, who desires to form a contract, can't find another individual in the endless gods' domains. If this opportunity is missed, it is unlikely that there will be a target of this level to form a contract with for the rest of her life. The position of Enchantress is determined by the level of charm on the target. If you want to become the strongest Enchantress, you must charm the most perfect target. The probability of victory is over 50%. Compared to impulsive Azura, Enchantress, who follows her own desires as a saint demon, is the one who finally makes the decision. Considering all known information, she calculated that her chances of winning were 50%. Impermanent, who fell into a critical state for unknown reasons. Azura, who is eager but lacks finesse. The greatest formidable enemy, Enchantress. With the calculation concluded, there is a need to give it a try. Finally, the last top-ranking heavenly demon also descended. Their common opponent, Impermanent with the true name Elise, was originally in a state of complete collapse, but with the addition of these 3 reinforcements, she unexpectedly gained a momentary chance to catch her breath. On the other hand, the 3 top-ranking heavenly demons who were planning to take advantage of the situation were instantly overwhelmed by endless fragments of memories, experiencing the same tragic fate as Elise. In just a few seconds, those affected by the wave were plunged into a fatal crisis of self-collapse, just like Impermanent. 3, 2, 1. Contract time with the heavenly demon, over. Yunshi opened his eyes and looked at the shattered 6-eyed heavenly demon in front of him, a bewildered expression on the girl's face. Who are you? Chapter 9:11. The Reborn Heavenly Demon. Finally, the heavenly demon that appeared before Yunshi was none of the 4 heavenly demons he knew. However, it possessed different characteristics from the 4 heavenly demons at the same time. She was about 1.6 meters tall, seemingly the average height of the 4 heavenly demons, with perfectly curved body lines and flawless, white skin, radiating strength. Her chest was high and prominent, showcasing Enchantress' inherent advantage, while her slender legs inherited Azura's contours, appearing exceptionally powerful. On her snowy white forehead, the third eye from Saint Demon slowly opened, exuding a radiance of infinite wisdom. The 6 eyes demon mask, broken and only half remaining, hung from the end of her hair, a testament to the lingering presence of Impermanent. She was Enchantress and also Saint Demon. She was Azura and also Impermanent. Judging from the final stance, Saint Demon did achieve the final victory she envisioned, suppressing the chaotic Enchantress and Azura, hence the facial resemblance between this heavenly demon and Saint Demon was the greatest. However, Impermanent, who had reached the final step of the contract with Yunshi, only had a small fragment left hanging in her black hair, giving a very weak sense of existence. I won. Saint Demon, who had gained dominance, smiled. Although some parts of her body felt somewhat unfamiliar, especially her heavy chest, she was the ultimate winner. Impermanent's consciousness fell silent. Enchantress and Azura were too eager to take the initiative, resulting in their memories being stirred up and thrown into disarray, like clothes thrown into a washing machine before terrifying memory fragments. In the end, Saint Demon, who entered last, became the one who laughed last. It appeared to be so. However, Saint Demon didn't have the chance to celebrate for long before she realized that the tragedy she had encountered was far from over. Those fragments hadn't disappeared at all. The memories from the stars continued to erode the existence of the 4 heavenly demons. Yunshi's contract only weakened the destructive power of these memory fragments to a great extent, but the remaining small part still inflicted fatal harm upon them. Just less than 20 seconds after gaining control of the body, Saint Demon's consciousness, just like the other 3 heavenly demons, was thrown into the washing machine called stellar memory, undergoing the cleansing of the profound will of the stars. Therefore, the unique heavenly demon that unified the final 4 heavenly demons before Yun-Shi had a gaze that instantly became blank. There was never going to be a winner in this battle from the very beginning. Even when combined, the soul memories of the 4 heavenly demons were still so insignificant compared to what Elise had glimpsed. Their failure was destined. Ah! Is this my heavenly demon? Yun-Shi looked at the heavenly demon before him, who was like a blank slate resembling a baby, and felt a sense of distress. Wasn't it said that the heavenly demon summoned by the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll was extremely dangerous, capable of seducing even the monks and making them lose control of themselves in the presence of Enchantress? If one can resist the temptation of Enchantress, then they can cultivate to reach the realm of seeing me, the Tathagata, and never fear any worldly temptation again. Why did the heavenly demon that he summoned, besides the initial one, become stranger and stranger, and in the end, even the original owner of the black maid outfit he possessed, the killing Princess Elise, appeared? Where has Elise gone now? What is going on with the heavenly demon in front of him right now, resembling a blank sheet of paper? In the mind of the heavenly demon, the brilliance of endless stars brushed again and again, almost cleansing the souls of the 4 heavenly demons, especially the most powerful impermanent heavenly demon, from head to toe. Only then did the consciousness of the new heavenly demon born from the fusion of the 4 heavenly demons emerge. This heavenly demon is not the Enchantress, not the Saint Demon, not the Azura, nor the Impermanent. She possesses all the traits of the 4 heavenly demons, including memories and battle modes, but her sense of self is a blank slate, like a child in initial mode. As she opened her 3 eyes for the first time, the first thing she saw was Yun-Shi. Master, Master! The young heavenly demon looked at Yun-Shi and spoke for the first time. As a completely new heavenly demon that has never been born in the history of heavenly demons, she possesses the talents of 3 higher-ranked heavenly demons and 1 supreme heavenly demon. Charm, wisdom, and strength are all at their maximum racial values, along with the mystery that only supreme heavenly demons possess. This is the strongest young heavenly demon to be born in the history of the heavenly demon race, a newborn heavenly demon with infinite potential. Elise. Yun-Shi only knew the true name of the last appearing impermanent heavenly demon but had no idea of the importance of this true name to the impermanent heavenly demon. Elise, my name, she replied with a smile, accepting the name. As if being recognized by the world, the 6 Eyes demon mask, which was originally in a fragmented state, began to regenerate rapidly. Although it had not fully regained its perfect state, that is, the pseudo-9th rank of the supreme heavenly demon, the recast 6 Eyes demon mask became even more exquisite, with each eye radiating an eerie and mysterious brilliance. She is not the killing Princess Elise. The real Elise had actually died during the 7 days and 7 nights battle with Cerberus. And she, too, is not that impermanent heavenly demon. Impermanent heavenly demon Elise was born from the body of Elise in response to her dying wish, a supreme heavenly demon. If one were to insist, she should be the 3rd incarnation of Elise, a young heavenly demon born from the body of the 2nd incarnation, supreme heavenly demon Elise, having merged with 3 higher-ranked heavenly demons of the same race. She possesses the traits of 3 higher-ranked heavenly demons as well as those of her mother, impermanent heavenly demon Elise. She has 4 different forms: the Enchantress that enhances seductive power, the Saint Demon that enhances wisdom, the Azura that enhances combat strength, and the most powerful and terrifying impermanent supreme heavenly demon. Being able to switch between 4 postures and choose the most suitable heavenly demon form is the innate talent of the newly born Elise. Moreover, her racial value grants her the potential for further evolution towards a higher level. Humans cannot comprehend the form of existence of the heavenly demon. This immortal and extraordinary presence possesses an extremely terrifying adaptability. Faced with the overwhelming burden of the stellar memories, the 4 heavenly demons made the same choice. Abandoning their selves and shattering their own concepts, the 4 heavenly demons merged together, with Impermanent as their core, to form a completely new heavenly demon body. All of this is based on the agreement of the 4 heavenly demons and the contract established with Yunxi. Only by doing so can they survive the washing of the stellar memories. Finally, what was born is a heavenly demon that has never existed in the history of the heavenly demon population. This is a heavenly demon that possesses the power of the stars from the moment of its birth. This is the only one in the entire endless gods' domains, named starry celestial demon Elise. Chapter 9:12. Your heavenly demon self-destruction caused by the memory of the stars. Also, because of the memory of the stars, it resurfaced from the wreckage once again. She is unique, the heavenly demon Elise belonging to Yunxi. So, does this mean we have successfully completed the introductory chapter? Yunxi extended his fingertip and touched the miniature 6-eyes demon mask on Elise's horn. Unaware of the ecological nature of the heavenly demon race, he had no idea of the terror he had brought about. For him, who had been kissed by the 4 heavenly demons, the Elise in front of him was just a natural product of his cultivation of the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. Let us keep silent for 3 seconds about the ignorance of the youth. Yes, I am the heavenly demon of my master. Elise sweetly smiled. Just as a newly hatched bird naturally regards the first creature it sees as its mother, Elise, who has been washed by the memory of the stars, naturally sees Yunxi as the most important person to her. Enchantress, Saint Demon, Azura, and Impermanent, the 4 heavenly demons, have all become part of Elise. So, what just happened? Yunxi is still confused until now. The ritual of the contract with the heavenly demon, why is it completely different from what is recorded in the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll? That's because, as my master, you have the potential to become a heavenly demon. So many heavenly demons responded to your call. Elise walked to Yunxi's side, tilted her small head, and instantly transformed. Enchantress, reappear. Master, this is Enchantress, one of my incarnations. The peerless Enchantress, who possesses stunning beauty with every move and a single glance that can cause romantic troubles, appeared again in front of Yunxi. It's her. For Yunxi, this is probably the only familiar heavenly demon, the orthodox heavenly demon recorded in the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. Enchantress, a heavenly demon who excels at seduction. Elise licked Yunxi's ear and instinctively wrapped her arms around his. Indeed, her charm is overwhelming. Yunxi's heart raced with the alluring embrace of warmth and tenderness. She truly lived up to the description of the heavenly demon that could seduce even the most steadfast monks, as documented in the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. Next is the Saint Demon, a heavenly demon who advocates for wisdom and possesses divinity. Elise transformed once again, appearing before Yunxi as the Saint Demon donning a pristine white robe. That sacred and inviolable aura, coupled with an irresistible charm that made one want to protect her like a dependent bird, possessed a delicate strength that no one would associate with a being called heavenly demon. In the name of the Saint Demon, I bestow upon you the blessings of a saint. Mischievously, Elise pointed her finger at Yunxi's forehead and bestowed a genuine and sacred blessing. Among the heavenly demon clan, the Saint Demon is the only one beloved by even the deities themselves. They are considered the prime candidates for saintly positions and are born as children of destiny. Lastly, there's this. The pristine robe was engulfed in raging flames, as if a ferocious demon was about to be born. Flames danced around her hair, and Elise transformed into the form of Azura. She was a monster that roamed the battlefield, a nightmare born from mountains of corpses and seas of blood, a killing machine tainted by the scent of endless bloodshed. In her eyes burned an unyielding and ceaseless intent to kill. Azura, the strongest battle-oriented heavenly demon, aside from Impermanent, Her combat ability surpasses all others. Lastly, there's my original form, Impermanent. Elise put on the mask of the six-eyed heavenly demon and smiled faintly at Yunshi. Yunshi couldn't explain why, but when he looked at Elise wearing the six-eyes demon mask, he couldn't help but feel that she exuded a sense of mystery. Compared to the enchanting enchantress, the wise saint demon, and the deadly Azura, there was always a sense of uncertainty and elusiveness surrounding Impermanent. She was clearly here, yet it felt as if she were still beyond reach, in a distant place. If it weren't for the soothing presence emanating from her, Yunshi would find it hard to believe that this heavenly demon belonged to him. Because I paid a significant price during the recent contract, the power of Impermanent cannot be utilized extensively for now. Elise took off the six-eyes demon mask that symbolized Impermanent and revealed her exquisite face. At the final moment of completing the contract, all four heavenly demons were nearly wiped out simultaneously. The current Elise is a fusion of the four heavenly demons, with Impermanent as the core, resurrected as a newborn heavenly demon. The four descending heavenly demons had their powers almost entirely reset. Now, Elise needs to rebuild her strength from scratch. Master, which appearance do you prefer? As time passed, Elise's gaze became increasingly clear. The allure of the enchantress. The wisdom of the saint demon. The combat talent of Azura. The mystery of Impermanent. As a fusion of four heavenly demons, the soul-starry celestial demon, even in its infancy, began to display its charm. The existence of heavenly demons is inherently ever-changing, with infinite possibilities. Either one is fine. Help me with my cultivation, said Yunshi, actually quite content with just the original enchantress. Summoning Elise unexpectedly, along with four different heavenly demon forms, was like a buy-one-get-four free deal. I understand, Master. Let's begin our cultivation. Elise covered her small mouth and giggled. Their adorable master was truly as innocent as a sheet of white paper. Isn't cultivation with heavenly demon just about being affectionate and parfou? Nevertheless, they couldn't cross that line yet. They had to be a well-behaved and obedient heavenly demon. The four disobedient and reckless heavenly demons, who dared to lay hands on their master, which also happened to be Elise's own mother's, had taught her a bloody lesson about the consequences of such actions. In order to avoid repeating the tragedy of her mother's, Elise started to gradually improve her favor with their master and slowly began her duties as a heavenly demon. So, Yunshi finally began the orthodox cultivation recorded in the Paranormata Vasavatin scroll. It was in this almost stagnant heavenly demon realm that he continuously visualized the forms of the heavenly demons. However, unlike other monks who cultivated the Paranormata Vasavatin scroll, the heavenly demon appearing before Yunshi always kept changing. At times, wearing a sheer veil that almost revealed her bare essentials, the enchantress strolled through the clouds, her waist swaying while she breathed out a fragrant sigh. At times, she transformed into a divine saintess, her hands clasped in prayer, occasionally revealing a glimpse of her snowy white cleavage. At times, she brandished her weapon, performing daring battle dances. At times, donning a mask of the six-eyed heavenly demon, she opened an umbrella and strolled with Yunshi amidst the traces of starlight. Chapter 9:13, Whispering of the Heavenly Demons. Alright. Stop. After roughly 13 rounds of visualization, Yunshi found it difficult to restrain himself. The allure of Elise's heavenly demon form was even more terrifying than what was recorded in the Paranormata Vasavatin scroll. Naturally enticing, the slender figure of the enchantress was captivating. With a divine temperament, the saint demon occasionally revealed her snow-white skin. Full of aggression, Azura seemed ready to charge at him at any time and have their way with him. Wearing a beautiful Western-style dress, the petite Impermanent exuded a sense of forbidden desire. With each transformation, Yunshi felt his noble and righteous heart face a great challenge. No matter which heavenly demon form Elise assumed, they were equally enticing and made one desire to commit forbidden acts. Moreover, he knew that no matter what he did, no matter how he sinned, he wouldn't be punished. It was simply maddening. Now, Yunshi could understand why Buddhist monks who practiced the Paranormata Vasavatin scroll would tread on thin ice and be cautious. In just a single thought, One could descend into the 18 layers of hell. Yes, Master. Unlike her own reckless mothers, Elise knew when to unleash the power of the heavenly demon and when to stop. This must be an epiphany from the great stars. Today's session ends here. I'll come back next time for further contemplation. Yunshi wiped the sweat off his forehead, fortunate that there was no concept of time in the heavenly demon illusion. The Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll truly deserved to be the scripture of Buddhism. Elise is always ready to answer your call, Master. No matter when, Master can summon Elise, Elise said with a mischievous smile, digging a big hole for Yunshi. I'll need your help in the future. Yunshi, completely unaware of the terrifying entity he had created, left the ambiguous heavenly demon illusion with satisfaction. After Yunshi left, Elise's gaze instantly changed. It was a very, very dangerous yet incredibly pure gaze, like a pitch-black abyss of profound stars. Oh my, this is really a blood loss. Enchantress's figure appeared behind Elise, pouting discontentedly. This is fate, irresistible. Saint Demon's figure also emerged. She who had once been the last victor, had regret in her eyes, but more importantly, a calm acceptance of this fate. I yearn for battle, leave the fighting to me. Azura, who had also accepted this fate, licked her lips and revealed a bloodthirsty gaze. Silent amidst them was Elise, her six-eyed heavenly demon still in a fragmented state. Under the scouring of the memories of the starry sky, Impermanent suffered the impact of more than 90% of the enormous memory fragments, teetering on the brink of collapse. In order to survive and to continue existing, the four heavenly demons had no choice but to join forces and sign a completely unequal contract with Yunshi. The result of the contract was the birth of Elise, a brand new heavenly demon with the combined power of the four heavenly demons. However, the original enchantress, Saint Demon, Azura, and Impermanent did not disappear, but coexisted with the newly born Elise. Or rather, the young starry celestial demon Elise was actually a manifestation of a part of each of the four heavenly demons. From this perspective, Elise is both the child of the four heavenly demons and the four heavenly demons themselves. Elise, never did I imagine that I would also have a day to acquire Impermanent's true name. Enchantress looked at the silent Impermanent with curiosity on her face and asked, wasn't Impermanent's true name sealed away? That's because the absolute inequality of the contract allowed her true name to be known. This is probably Impermanent's only weakness. Saint Demon logically analyzed the reason for the leak of Impermanent's true name. So Impermanent has this weakness after all, I never knew before. Azura licked his lips and eagerly looked at Impermanent wearing a broken mask. Do you want to fight? I've never fought Impermanent before. Azura, as the most combative race among the superior heavenly demons, never feared any opponent, not even Impermanent as a supreme heavenly demon. Die! Impermanent coldly looked at the challenging Azura and slowly extended a finger. Azura, who was locked on by Impermanent's finger, suddenly started to deform drastically, as if something extremely terrifying was about to burst out from within him. A strange rhombus shape protruded from Azura's chest, becoming more and more apparent. 3 seconds later, Azura's body shattered with a crisp sound. Impressive, this is the first time I've seen Impermanent make a move, truly invincible. Enchantress exclaimed excitedly as she watched the dismembered Azura. Impermanent, the most mysterious heavenly demon with unparalleled power. Saint Demon didn't miss any details, recording every move Impermanent made and analyzing frame by frame. Come, let's fight again. After being instantly killed, Azura resurrected in the same spot 10 seconds later and charged towards Impermanent once more. Elise shrugged her shoulders and decided to ignore the heavenly demon war behind her. Moms are really energetic, even though they've become one, no one can kill anyone. I better continue practicing and wait for the summoning from my master. Good morning, Maya. Yunshi, who woke up from the heavenly demon illusion, hugged her golden-haired princess tightly and took a deep breath. Definitely feels like the day hasn't started if I don't take this breath every morning. Master, is there something good happening? Maya also happily absorbed Yunshi's scent, even more vigorously than Yunshi. I've made some progress in my cultivation. Yunshi jumped off the bed and put on her greatsword-made attire. Not bad, indeed different from before. Perhaps due to inheriting memories from the previous greatsword maid, the killing princess, the girl in the mirror appeared even more graceful and confident than usual. This is the true princess, the most dazzling crown at the ball. Even though her whole body was stained with Cerberus blood, she was still captivatingly beautiful. I will remember, I must kill any demon human I encounter. And also, take care of that Cerberus. Inheriting all the memories of the killing princess Elise, Yunshi became more adept at using the black maid attire. This black maid attire, stained with Cerberus blood, also revealed its full functionality to Yunshi for the first time, representing her passing its test and becoming a true greatsword maid, inheriting the honor and mission of the killing princess. Yunshi finally realized that this black greatsword maid attire had 3 completely different modes. The maid mode in its normal state. The princess mode when wearing the kingdom's crown. And the battlefield-exclusive, ruthless and fearsome slaughter mode. Chapter 9:14. Astonishing charm. Pushing open the door to her own room, Yunshi strolled through the corridor of the Starwings Knights' dedicated girls' dormitory with an unprecedented light and brisk pace. The black maid uniform that she had never been able to fully get used to not only became more form-fitting after acquiring the memories of the killing princess, but its material and luster also became increasingly exquisite and captivating. Though it was the style of a maid uniform, it made Yunshi exude the elegance of a princess. This was the aura of the killing princess. Even bathed in blood, a princess is still a princess. All the members of the Starwings Knights who saw Yunshi couldn't help but cover their small mouths and looked at today's exceptionally beautiful and captivating Mai with shining faces. Perhaps only Yunshi himself hadn't realized just how astonishing his charm had become after forming a contract with the heavenly demon. As demonic creatures capable of tempting even Buddhist monks, heavenly demons possessed irresistible charm regardless of their type. By forming contracts with 4 heavenly demons simultaneously, Yunshi also inherited some of their talents. The Enchantress's charm. The Saint Demon's wisdom. The Azura's strength. The Impermanent's mystery. The blend of the 4 heavenly demons' auras, along with the memories inherited from Elise, resulted in the current Mai. Beautiful and elegant. Mysterious and dangerous. It was a charm that caught one's gaze at first glance, a unique allure of long black hair. Mai, you look so beautiful today. Even the dim-witted secretary who had always been called the brainless busty one by the Starwings Knights Commoners faction noticed that Mai today was extraordinary. Is that so? Really? It looks plain to me. After repeatedly envisioning various postures of the heavenly demons, Yunshi didn't think that the black-haired maid in the mirror was particularly beautiful. Compared to the heavenly demons, she was just average. Her skin has become fairer. The texture of her hair has also improved. Her chest has also grown a little. Compared to the muddled sorcery of Ling Ling, Mai Lan examined herself thoroughly from head to toe and came to a conclusion that would make all the girls in the Starwings Knights scream. Mai has truly become more beautiful. Moreover, the change in her aura is even greater than the change in her appearance. That composed feeling, that elegant and captivating aura, she had only seen it before in the Starwings Knights leader, Who Are You? The current Mai truly resembled a princess. Oh Mai, it's not just an illusion. Mai, what skincare product did you use? Yes, hiding secrets is not good. Mai, which product from God's domain is it? Your chest has even grown, Mai. Did you use cosmetics with demon dragon blood in them? In just that short 1 minute, Yunshi was surrounded by the girls of the Starwings Knights. Topics about skincare, cosmetics, and chest maintenance are the never-ending focus for the girls. No. Really, there is no such thing. Yunshi, covered in sweat, looked at the Starwings Knights members who had enclosed him. When it comes to skincare products and cosmetics, he really has no clue. As an upright gentleman, how would he know the topics that these girls are interested in? He doesn't even know whether lavender essential oil is extracted by frying or boiling. Then why do you smell so good, Mai? Yeah, what kind of perfume is this? I've never smelled it before. This smooth skin, sob, Mai, you shouldn't keep it a secret. I've been worried about my skin getting dry lately. Yesterday, my hair wasn't this soft. The girls' curiosity was strong, their actions decisive. Yunshi's struggle was destined to fail. The girls, who naturally loved skinship, almost melted Yunshi with their passionate gazes. Many of them were even wearing pajamas, revealing cute lingerie and beautifully sculpted arms, without a trace of wariness towards Yunshi. Gah! Gah! Look over there, a fool who has fallen into the abyss. They're already beyond saving, there's no cure. It's not surprising if they're devoured at any time, day and night without rest, they're doomed. Several bloodthirsty birds flew around Robin, issuing malicious cursed prophecies towards the devilish Yunshi. What chaos, my future! As a mysterious sect's prophet who has been dealing with all sorts of peculiar things since childhood, Robin rubbed her forehead. She was just here to have breakfast, but she didn't expect to witness such a thrilling scene. It's obvious that Mai made a deal with some undisclosed entity and gained an otherworldly charm. Looking at the girls surrounding her, one by one, they were all abnormal. It's better to stay far away from her, otherwise, if I get involved too, it will be disastrous for me. A gold piece will always shine. Mai has always been a charismatic person. Sitting next to Robin, who are you, the leader of the Starwings Knights, revealed a meaningful smile. You all spoil her too much. Robin stirred the sugar cube in her cup. After joining this organization called the Starwings Knights, I realized it's essentially Mai's night order. Unconditional love for Mai. Being fed Mai's bread all day long. The day won't start without seeing Mai. Whatever Mai says is right. Whatever Mai does is good. You're all poisoned. It's called Mai's poison. On the contrary, it's not that we spoil Mai too much, but rather Mai spoils us too much. Who are you? Elegantly drank her breakfast milk and tore open the freshly served Starwings Knights exclusive cream bread. Taking a bite of the golden cream bread, who are you? Revealed a happy and gentle expression. In this world, there is no one who cares about us more than Mai. If it weren't for Mai, the Starwings Knights wouldn't exist. Mai doesn't need the Starwings Knights now, on the contrary, the Starwings Knights can never be separated from Mai. Don't you find it strange, this kind of relationship? As the newest member to join the Starwings Knights, Robin has always been unable to understand why the bond between this knightly order and Mai is so intimate. It's beyond the description of comrades of the knightly order or friends, but rather a bond that surpasses sisterhood and brotherhood, tighter than blood ties. What's even more peculiar is that after joining the Starwings Knights, she, who had always been unconsciously ignored as the being of nightmares, has begun to integrate into this group. Chapter 9:15. Shocking treasure. This isn't right. No one knows better than Robin how terrifying the curse entangling her is. People, always subconsciously forgetting her presence, unable to remember her name. She's like air, even on bustling streets, she's like an invisible phantom, unnoticed by anyone. For assassins, this is probably a desired talent, but Robin doesn't want to be an assassin, she longs for true friends. For her past self, that was truly a luxury wish. Now, this wish has been granted. After joining the Starwings Knights, the girls in the Starwings Knights would all greet her proactively and see her as one of the Order's members. They can see her, not ignoring her presence. It's just such a simple thing that anyone would take for granted, but for Robin, the blooded killer of the 10 Leaves League, ranked in the top 10 in the entire Eastern Gods domain, it is deeply moving. Perhaps, she's also been poisoned. Named Mai, the incurable disease. Get used to it sooner, and you'll probably understand what I mean soon. Seeing Robin's conflicted expression, who are you? Shrugged. In this Starwings Knights, Robin is not the only one with secrets. Should I also learn to apply makeup? Even Robin herself had forgotten that she had such girlish hobbies when she was still human. Becoming an assassin wasn't what she liked, but rather she had nowhere else to go except for the 10 Leaves League. In the world of the imperial court, aristocracy, and blooded, only the blooded could accept her cursed existence. She never personally killed anyone, she was just a tragic witness. This is trouble. Finally escaping from the encirclement of the Starwings Knights girls, Yunshi realized that he seemed to be attracting more attention today. Countless female disciples of the White Lotus Sword Palace were chasing after him, asking what special skincare products, cosmetics, and breast enlargement medicine he used. He didn't have any of those things. So why did his chest get bigger? It's totally not his fault. Parfu. The tiny Parfu emerged from Yunshi's chest, its translucent green body visibly larger. There, this is the culprit behind Yunshi's enlarged chest. And who knows what special nutrients Parfu absorbed. Yunshi woke up to find the tiny Parfu's delicate body had started growing. Along with that, Yunshi's own chest measurement increased a size that he himself didn't even notice. It was truly a trivial matter for him as a male. Unfortunately, that was his own perception. He thought that the slight and insignificant change was dreamlike for the girls. Overnight, without using any secret padding or other props, it truly and instantaneously grew larger. It was simply a miracle. Completely unaware of the Starwings Knight's obsession with the chest, Yunshi was destined to become the target of attention. Now, he couldn't even attend classes, so Yunshi could only hide once again in his own paradise, the White Lotus secret treasure room. Coincidentally, he also needed to inquire about his progress in cultivating the Paranirmata Vasavartin scroll from the big white light sphere. In the empty secret room, the white, soft light sphere floated in the center of the room like a cloud, occasionally lazily turning its body, enjoying the utmost leisure. Ever since handing the introductory chapter of the Paranirmata Vasavartin scroll to that little guy who always came uninvited, the big white light sphere had been leading a carefree life. Originally, the White Lotus secret treasure room was a forbidden place for outsiders, with the highest level of secrecy in the entire White Lotus sword domain. Except for the moments when the top 10 graduates of the White Lotus Sword Palace, who had obtained recognition, came here for enlightenment, this treasure room would never be open to outsiders. Even the twin witches, who were divine priestesses, only entered this room once a year. On average, out of 365 days a year, the big white light sphere, as the projection of the White Lotus secret treasure, had less than 24 hours of contact with beings like humans. The rest of the time, it could sleep in whatever posture it liked, transform into whatever appearance it desired, completely indulging in carefree leisure. Until that bastard kid with the sky sword mark started treating this place as his own rest area, running over every few days to complain to it and even squeezing and rubbing it. In its entire life, the big white light sphere had never been so disrespected by anyone, and unfortunately, its setting prevented it from retaliating against this guy. Finally, it could only throw away the Paranirmata Vasavartin scroll that couldn't be practiced by non-monks at all, preparing to out of sight, out of mind. Today, it was also prepared to have a good night's sleep. As for today, it loved the sleeping posture of moving in a full 360-degree arc. That was its absolute favorite. Hoo. The peculiar rhythm echoed in the silent treasure room. It was a type of Great Tao halo rhythm, an excellent lullaby. Pa. With a sound, the door opened. Yunshi, dressed in a black maid outfit, barged into a certain light sphere's private space, then hugged the soft and white light sphere, leaning her entire body against it. Damn it, why did she come again? If the big white light sphere could have expressions, it would definitely be a huge character. This damn watchdog, always coming to disturb the great White Lotus secret treasure's sleeping time. Who? Indeed, this place makes people feel at ease. Yunshi lay on the fluffy big white light sphere, this irresistibly comfortable feeling whether lying or sitting, it was just too amazing. Truly worthy of being the projection of the great sacred tree Linjia, it was always useful in any circumstance. The big white light sphere remained silent on this matter, even resistance was impossible, it could only endure. However, why did this brat come again so quickly? Wasn't he supposed to have gone astray and cried while returning the six-eyed heavenly demon after practicing the Paranirmata Vasavartin scroll? There weren't any serious after-effects from failing to practice the Paranirmata Vasavartin scroll, but if he couldn't collect enough emotional power while wearing the six-eyes demon mask, he would have consecutive nightmares for many days. This was just a small punishment for this watchdog, letting him know what it meant to be out of one's depth and to be incapable. The Paranirmata Vasavartin scroll, such a thing, it was impossible for mere mortals to successfully cultivate it. Lord Linjia, I've mastered the introductory chapter of the Paranirmata Vasavartin scroll. Leaning on the big white light sphere, Yunshi reported good news. White question marks appeared one after another on the big white light sphere. Is this brat having a fever? What nonsense is he talking about all of a sudden? Chapter 9:16. Elise appears. Could ordinary people practice the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll? Could this guy have gone astray while practicing the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll, eventually losing his sanity and thinking he has achieved enlightenment by giving up killing? But there seems to be a problem with my practice of the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll. Yes, this is the normal style, right? You, an ordinary person who hasn't even shaved your head, and still love wearing a black maid outfit, it's strange if there are no problems with your practice of this Buddhist scripture, the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll. The heavenly demon I summoned seems to be more than just the enchantress described in the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll. Yun-shi earnestly shared his distress with the big white ball of light. What? The summoning was successful? Are you kidding me? Could something like the heavenly demon be easily summoned just like that? This boy, has he lost his mind and fallen into a fantasy world? It must be that what appeared in his mind is definitely not a heavenly demon, but a lower-level creature like a dream monster. Maybe it even drained a lot of his energy. No wonder, there's a scent that doesn't smell human. I summoned Enchantress, Saint Demon, Azura, Impermanent, and it seems like they all merged together, Yun-shi honestly explained, referring to the mistake that happened while practicing the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll. Although there was no problem visualizing the form of the heavenly demon, suddenly forming a contract with 4 heavenly demons and ultimately obtaining Elise left Yun-shi perplexed. At this moment, he needs a wise teacher to guide him. Of all the characters Yun-shi knows, only the big white ball that gave him the introductory part of the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll can take on this role. The big white ball of light had hundreds and thousands of question marks floating on it. What is this bragging dog even saying? A saint demon with a holy attribute. An Azura who is inclined towards killing. Impermanent is formless, representing the supreme heavenly demon of the Buddhist tradition. These heavenly demons have nothing to do with the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll. If practicing the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll could summon these high-ranking heavenly demons, even supreme heavenly demons, then this Buddhist scripture would be of the highest level, connecting directly to the origin of Buddhism. Impermanent heavenly demons are equal to the attainment of a golden body in Buddhist practice. In terms of ranking within the endless gods' domains, Impermanent is close to the 9th rank of the legend rank, field, heavenly demon. That's why it can be called supreme heavenly demon. It only provides an introductory chapter of the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll to this bragging dog, so it's not absurd to think it can summon higher-ranking heavenly demons. This kid is beyond saving. Realizing that someone had completely lost control while practicing the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll, the bright white sphere kindly wrapped Yun-shi in its light, indicating that they would soon be unable to see this privileged dog again. Oh, by the way, you haven't met my heavenly demon yet, have you? I'll summon it now. Yun-shi could feel the benevolence radiating from the bright white sphere and felt deeply grateful for it. If it weren't for the teachings of the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll, he wouldn't have found a good method to cultivate his willpower. The past monks were truly formidable, able to face such a powerful heavenly demon without showing any signs of fear. He was still far from reaching that level. He's finally gone mad. The bright white sphere looked at Yun-shi, who was closing his eyes, seemingly communicating with something. His body became even more supple. In the next moment, Elise appeared quietly in the room of the White Lotus secret treasure, wearing the 6 eyes demon mask that had all 4 characteristics of a heavenly demon. A heavenly demon is a being that is invisible and intangible, existing and yet not existing. When it has no physical body, a heavenly demon cannot be observed by anyone and hardly has any impact on the world. Only when a heavenly demon has a physical body does it start to distort the world, whether in positive or negative ways. Most of the time, a heavenly demon would never appear in the real world in its true form. It is an unspoken rule. An immortal heavenly demon, like an eternal and invisible disaster, always influences the world from the shadows. However, Elise, who responded to Yun-shi's call, nonchalantly broke this unspoken rule. The impermanent heavenly demon is such an extraordinary existence, disregarding boundaries and possessing immense power and qualifications among the heavenly demons. Elise, who possesses the powers of Enchantress, Saint Demon, Azura, and Impermanent, wouldn't follow this rule. She is the only exception in the history of the starry celestial demon and heavenly demon races. This is Elise, my contracted heavenly demon, Yunshi said nervously, as if he were introducing his girlfriend to his parents, while looking at the large solidified white ball. As a projection of the sacred tree Linjia, the white ball has accumulated countless wisdom and knowledge over the long years. It even has records of secret Buddhist scriptures like the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll. Now it seems to be malfunctioning. This, indeed, is a real heavenly demon, and it is not the target summoned by the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll, the Enchantress. It is a completely new species, an upper-level heavenly demon that even the wisdom repository of the sacred tree Linjia has never recorded. Hello, esteemed sacred tree Linjia. Elise, with a calm smile, gently took Yunshi's hand and leaned naturally against him, just like true lovers would. Yunshi was completely unaware of Elise's harmless gesture, especially compared to the reckless and unruly enchantresses. Elise was really well behaved. However, her slightly raised canine tooth quietly revealed a little secret in Elise's heart. This is not a plot, but rather the wisdom of a heavenly demon. Compared to the four mothers, Elise was clearly more advanced in her understanding of how to win Yunshi's heart. Danger, danger, danger. How could this heavenly demon be something summoned by the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll? The charm of the Enchantress. The wisdom mark on the forehead of the three-eyed saint demon. A terrifying power hidden within the body. And the most terrifying thing, the six-eyes demon mask on her hair tips. Why can the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll summon the Enchantress? It is precisely because it imitates a hint of the presence of the highest-ranking heavenly demon Impermanent. Even though they knew it was a fake, a deceitful six-eyes demon mask created to represent the impermanent without form concept in Buddhism, the enchantresses still couldn't resist that aura and would respond to the summons. But now, that six-eyes demon mask over there, it's the real deal. Chapter 917, One Mistake After Another. The Heavenly Demon with Six Eyes. Symbolizing impermanent, formlessness, selflessness, boundlessness, freedom. The supreme heavenly demon who reigns at the pinnacle of the heavenly demon species. This insignificant dog unexpectedly summoned the highest-ranking heavenly demon, which was thought impossible to respond to the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll. It's too unrealistic. How could the deceitful six-eyes demon mask summon the true owner of the six-eyes demon mask? A big bright ball floated gently towards Elise and Yunshi, swirling around them and closely inspecting the six-eyes demon mask at the tips of Elise's hair. The size and shape changed, but there was no doubt that it was the genuine six-eyes demon mask, proven by Impermanent. It was real, not fake. Which scroll, called the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll, could summon these heavenly demons? The method to summon Impermanent wasn't found within the teachings of Buddhism. In fact, it was the exact opposite. The natural enemy of Buddhism. The Buddhist monks who summoned heavenly demons did so to strengthen their willpower and wisdom. This practice was specifically designed for dealing with enchantresses. Saint Demon and Azura were not fooled by this. Even more so, Impermanent knew better. Is there a way to find out the practice method hidden behind the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll? Does sacred tree Linjia possess it? Yunshi had no idea about the shocking and extraordinary actions he had just committed. What comes after the practice method of the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll? You have already practiced the sacred scriptures to an unprecedented level. What more do you need in terms of further practice? Even the one who created the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll couldn't summon Impermanent, the woman with special powers. If we divide the secrets of the Paranamita Vasavatin scroll into 3 levels, you have already reached a non-existent 4th and 5th level. How much more do you want to learn? A bright white ball of light spun around Yunshi, as if trying to see through the body of this person dressed as a black maid and understand their true nature. Unfortunately, as a projection of the sacred tree Linjia, it only has the ability to store various books and help those humans who lack insight to comprehend the wisdom contained within. It doesn't possess any other abilities. Even the power to harm a single finger of a human is beyond Yunshi's abilities, which is why he was bullied by him. But since even something like the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll can be cultivated, reaching such a peculiar realm, it seems that this privileged dog has a connection with Buddhism. In that case, should I continue recommending some Buddhist scriptures to this kid, so that he can cultivate to the realm where form is emptiness and emptiness is form? Once he reaches that realm, this privileged dog won't disturb its peaceful dreams anymore, right? Let's see, there are still quite a few Buddhist scriptures in stock. Should I try recommending the Miao Fa Lian Hua Jing? It's a method that can make someone attain enlightenment while in their physical body. Also, this great compassionate savior's record is not bad. This kid seems to have a soft heart, and he even cross-dresses. Whoosh. Suddenly, a big bright light felt a chill all over its body, as if it had touched something forbidden. It was an inexplicable intuition, as if opening up to the dog's access to Buddhist scriptures would lead to a disastrous fate. Such immense malice was even overwhelming the protection of the sacred tree Linjia. How terrible this curse was! The big bright light quickly sealed the scriptures that could empower someone to become a great practitioner of Buddhism and continued to tamper with the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. The introductory part had already been released. For the dog, there was no need to cultivate the orthodox part that followed. It was mainly a gradual summoning method to summon a stronger enchantress. Fortunately, there was still valuable information in the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll on how to utilize the heavenly demon. Yes, this will do. Why does this book, the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll, have such records? Who on earth came up with this, and now we can only try our luck with it? So, Yunshi, following the logical order, saw the part of the practice behind the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll, various peculiar speculations that had nothing to do with the practice, footnotes. 100 ways to coexist with heavenly demons. To subdue a heavenly demon, one must first understand the heavenly demon. No entry to hell, no becoming a heavenly demon. Reference to the heavenly demon population. Enchantress is not the end. Is impermanent really there? It can be seen that these are not just the desires of one monk on the path of seeking heavenly demons. Inside are detailed records that can be called going against the norm. These things were originally placed in the references and footnotes of the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. Afterwards, all the young disciples who practiced the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll secret technique in the Buddhist sect would be warned by their elders not to read the annotations unless they had achieved mastery in this technique. Those who were able to leave annotations on this Buddhist scripture were naturally the monks who had passed the test of the heavenly demon. In other words, these annotations were actually unproven conjectures made by monks from previous generations about the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. As for those who had truly succeeded in summoning the higher-ranked heavenly demons, well, there weren't any. However, for Yunshi, this was the genuine text of the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. All these records and speculations about the heavenly demon were just like what he was experiencing now. To coexist with the heavenly demon. Let's explore more about the heavenly demon. If I don't go to hell, who will? The heavenly demon population includes saint demons, asuras, and impermanent. I understand now, let's do it this way, said Yunshi as he hugged the big white ball of light, feeling a bit nervous for some reason. He confirmed the next stage of his training with the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. To cultivate the power of emotions and make Elise beautiful, that is the path of the heavenly demon as indicated by the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. Beside Yunshi, Elise had a happy smile on her face as she looked at the absurd records in the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll. Everything was a complete mess. The monks who followed the instructions in this book would never reach the true heavenly demon in their lifetime. But what did it matter? As long as they could be together, whether it was the Paranirmata Vasavatin scroll or the 6 paths of reincarnation to summon the heavenly demon, it was all a good book. Whether it was a white cat or a black cat, they were both good cats. As the smiling Elise looked on, the big white ball of light inexplicably sweat a drop. This heavenly demon, already sure of its victory against this dog with authority. Chapter 9:18. The Return of the Sky Sword in the Endless Void, a massive green sea is spreading. It is formed by numerous slimes that can survive in the vacuum, even larger than the entire White Lotus Sword domain. For the past few weeks, this massive entity has been roaming around the starry sky surrounding the White Lotus Sword domain, eyeing it with malicious intent, protected only by the Sky Tower. Even though they are in the empty void with no food, the green slimes continue to divide, multiply, and occasionally capture passing meteorites to devour. If it weren't for the protection of the Divine Sword of Order, the White Lotus Sword domain would have been invaded by this group of slimes, suffering the same fate as the Water God's world, becoming a playground for the slimes. Today, the slime population was also in standby mode, their large bodies constantly moving as they peaked at the lower sword domain connected by the Star Bridge. Suddenly, the center of the slime ocean began to violently churn. A giant spider appeared in the center of the slime ocean. On the back of the giant spider was a massive throne that had once appeared in the Dragon God Kingdom. On the throne sat a green-haired girl with bare white feet, gazing at the White Lotus Sword domain not far away with a suggestive look. "There is nothing that I cannot obtain. Even you cannot stop me." Countless slimes cheered together, their divine offspring, the symbol of their race, had returned. Shea Longness, the Sky Sword, once again returned to the White Lotus Sword domain. The puppet makers in the Doll City were struggling with how to create a body that suited White Moon, unable to come up with a convincing solution. Their unfinished products were not even qualified to compare with what White Moon used to have. In a fit of anger, Shea Longness killed all those useless puppet makers once. If it weren't for the special rules of the Doll City, those puppet makers who failed to create a perfect body for White Moon would have been wiped out. After tormenting those perverted puppet makers, Shea Longness had to think. What kind of body did White Moon really want? Why couldn't those self-proclaimed top puppet makers of the Endless Gods domains even create a suitable body for White Moon? Billions of tons of precious materials like moonlight branches were wasted. Now, she didn't need to offer a reward anymore. All the puppet makers in the Doll City were determined to create a doll that matched White Moon, with red eyes and sworn promises. Unfortunately, this project seemed more difficult than imagined. Those puppet makers were on the verge of madness, and it looked like they would continue to go insane for a long time. At that moment, Shea Longness finally remembered that even though this group of failures would not succeed, there was still one person who could create a body that truly suited White Moon. She didn't know who this person was, but she knew where he was. The place where the dream started. The place where White Moon was born. If there was only one person in this world who could create White Moon's body, then that person must be here. Entry denied. No trespassing. If you descend again, it will be seen as a violation of the rules of the Sky Sword. As Shea Longness got a little closer, she could hear the cold and unpleasant voice in her ear. The guardian of the Sky Sword God's domain, the gatekeeper of the Sky Tower, the oldest Sky Sword, Lilibet the Azure Excalibur. Her Sky Sword was not the strongest among all the Sky Swords, nor the most terrifying, but it possessed the most unique power of order. As the gatekeeper of the Sky Tower, she also shelters all the sword domains that have been established there. The White Lotus Sword domain is a very rare sword domain in the lower realms that has built the Sky Tower. If it weren't for the presence of the Sky Tower, Shea Longness would have effortlessly wiped out a mere lower realm sword domain. Her snowy white feet were crossed and stacked together as Shea Longness propped up her snow-white face with her little hands. There are ways to enter the White Lotus Sword domain, such as Ouroboros and Phoenix, who have sealed their own powers to enter its interior. But those methods of sealing one's power and being tied down do not fit Shea Longness' style. The mischievous and unpredictable Sky Sword, the exemplar of coming and going wherever it pleases. Even though Hydera the Water God and Cassina the Battle God teamed up to suppress her, and she faced the sanction of Lilibet the Azure Excalibur, it didn't cause her much harm. With the endless support of slime life force from the abyss, Shea Longness could not be destroyed. Any curse, injury, or sanction that countless slime units willingly took for her, the damage to Shea Longness could be ignored. She was the chosen child of the slime population, the only divine fantasy, destined to become the special existence of the slime god. Since I can't go in, I'll ask someone for help. Well, she should be best at this kind of thing. Tapping her throne, Shea Longness made a decision to capture someone. Coincidentally, she had always been burdened with a long-standing mission, so she would use the name of this mission to lend a little help to her descent into this lower domain of swords. How should I put it? She was one of the disciples of that one. Yeah. Shea Longness softly sang the ancient and mysterious whispers, sending a message to an indescribable presence. Translated into human language, the information would be something like this: I've found some traces. The stars here are a little restless. Perhaps, the person that is being sought has left clues here. In Shea Longness murmurs, the massive slime ocean suddenly began to violently twist, large patches of slime started to perish, and the life force within them was completely drained. This was a sacrifice, a ritual that must be paid in order to summon the indescribable entity that exists in that ancient space and time. Dying for Shea Longness is the greatest honor for these slimes. They eagerly release their life force, sacrificing themselves to a being that is opening a rift in the void. The size of the slime ocean is so enormous, even exceeding half of the White Lotus Sword domain. When it withers down by half, a rift suddenly cracks open in a distant corner of the void. Giant tentacles begin to churn, occasionally revealing bodies that resemble eels. It's not the ground, but rather a region located deep in the endless sea. Yeah. Shea Longness and the being across from them exchange signals. Yeah. From the depths of the dark abyss, an insane whisper can be heard. Chapter 919. The sound of a bell resonates once again. In front of the Sky Tower, the wielder of the divine sword, adorned in blue, looks up at the vast emptiness. Near the area of White Lotus Sword domain, there seemed to be a strange disturbance. However, that disturbance quickly disappeared, leaving behind a strong scent of slime. Shea Longness, the Sky Sword, was still as reckless as ever. Let's reinforce the spatial barrier of White Lotus Sword domain. Okay, that's it, said Yunshi, covering his nose and trying to avoid looking at Impermanent, who was so close. Although he knew that this was Elise's incarnation, he couldn't help but feel his blood boil as he caught glimpses of the white panties hidden beneath her black Lolita dress. Master, it's not good to resist. Elise smiled as she sat beside Yunshi, not taking any action herself but using her magic to guide him step by step. Yunshi found it very difficult to resist. She felt the same way too. Clearly, there were plenty of opportunities to take action, even more than 10 chances to ensure success. But Elise held back, able to endure more than Yunshi. She wouldn't make the same mistake as the other mothers, thinking that getting Yunshi's body would be a great success. What she wanted was more than that, and even more precious. If you want to be a true gentleman, you must learn to be patient. No patience, no good. Without patience, you're just an animal. Yunshi was deeply remorseful for the many mistakes he had made in the past. Like the time with the million brides, or the early morning bunnies, or the wedding night of White Moon and the Queen of Assyria. No, just thinking about them made him feel out of control. Master, be patient a little longer. Elise smiled and encouraged Yunshi. Yes, continue to endure until the time when he couldn't hold back any longer. The mothers were just too impatient, and as they say, impatience can cause mistakes. Well, it's my lack of willpower. Thank goodness for you. Yunshi breathed a sigh of relief. My very own heavenly demon is so understanding, cute, and obedient. Compared to the desert dragon Zaka, who I always have to run away from recently, Elise is really easy to get along with. No matter when, I'll always stand by your side, my master, Elise said with a sweet smile. You look adorable when you're being patient. When you can't take it anymore, Elise will help you relieve the stress, using the methods of the heavenly demon. Thank you, you've been a great help. Yunshi, who is practicing the techniques from the Paranirmita Vasavatan scroll, feels a close connection to the heavenly demon, even though he doesn't know its true nature. This time, Yunshi was completely fooled by a big white light ball. This is what I should do, Elise said as she came behind Yunshi and gently rubbed his back, making him feel light and ethereal. Naturally, she got closer to Yunshi and he got used to her intimate actions. This is Elise's cute little trick. This plan fits perfectly with the style of the heavenly demon. As Yunshi opened his eyes and stretched, he noticed that Maya was sniffing him curiously. Master, have you had something good happen to you recently? Well, yes, I have. I've been practicing a very good secret technique. Yunshi hugged his golden-haired princess and took a deep breath, feeling happy. Maya touched Yunshi's cheek with her small paw, sensing that something was not quite right. It felt like their natural enemy had appeared. But as a star spirit, she knew that there was no such thing as a natural enemy for her kind. Assigned with the duty to guide the children of the stars, Maya herself had no combat abilities and couldn't be harmed by any external force. The concept of a natural enemy did not exist among the star spirits. If anything, the only threat to her was from others of her kind, those who would try to steal her master away. But the master clearly chose her, not the other two elves on the other path. Why does she feel like her master is going to be taken away? The star spirit on the other two paths, weren't they sealed? Lately, the master hasn't been practicing any dark powers, right? Today I'm going to the street, you can play with Star Thunder and the others. After comforting his golden-haired princess, Yunshi decided to gather emotional power outside of White Lotus Sword Palace. Nurturing Elise is the proper way to practice the Paranirmita Vasavatin scroll. Yunshi firmly believes in this. News of the upcoming White Lotus secret treasure has spread widely, with many different versions emerging. A dead tree in a certain courtyard suddenly sprouted new shoots, undoubtedly a blessing from the White Lotus secret treasure. A wife who was pregnant gave birth to quintuplets, which was considered a good omen for the birth of the White Lotus secret treasure. Some people saw the legendary phoenix soaring in the sky at night. It's a rare bird that is said to appear only once every 1,000 years. And it is definitely connected to the White Lotus secret treasure. In just a few months, the land around the White Lotus Sword Palace has skyrocketed in price. Various exotic buildings have popped up like mushrooms after the rain. The number of students studying at the White Lotus Sword Palace has also increased by dozens. Even the housing prices in the mortal world have multiplied because of the current White Lotus Sword domain. Those mortals who are not qualified to enter the area of the White Lotus Sword Palace are willing to spend all their wealth for a chance to get a little bit of the White Lotus secret treasure. They buy houses for their children, waiting for the moment when the White Lotus secret treasure is revealed. It can be said that parents all over the world have the same heart. Whether they are ordinary mortals in the handle area or the elites in the tip area, they are all deeply concerned about the White Lotus secret treasure. Walking on a busy street, Yunshi easily felt a lot of worries and tension from the people passing by. Everyone was waiting for the appearance of the White Lotus secret treasure. Sorry, but it would probably take at least 10 years for the White Lotus secret treasure to appear. Yunshi felt really sorry for these people. Because of borrowing a petal from the sacred tree Linjia in the world of the primordial dragon, one of the petals of the Linjia flower, which was about to bloom, was missing. The opening time was greatly delayed. But Yunshi couldn't tell the truth to these people. If this news spread, the housing market in the entire White Lotus Sword domain would suffer a devastating blow. It would take at least 10 years to recover. Just as Yunshi felt guilty about this, countless petals suddenly floated down from the sky. A familiar voice echoed in Yunshi's ears, a voice that only he could hear. 1 sound, 2 sounds, 3 sounds, those were the echoes of wisdom, coming from the legendary White Lotus Sword domain. Yunshi looked up and saw once again the one and only flower in the world. The flower of Linjia, which had lost a petal before, unexpectedly reappeared in his vision. White Lotus secret treasure appeared again. Chapter 920, Echoes of the Secret Treasure. Just like the first time it appeared at the White Lotus Sword Palace, only Yunshi was able to hear the sound coming from the flower of Linjia from the beginning. It was a sound that seemed distant, as if it had experienced countless ages of refinement. Yet, it was also very close, reaching straight to the heart, igniting the brilliance of one's wisdom. Yunshi's heart pounded with each sound, from the first to the third. By the fourth sound, finally, other people also heard the sound coming from the White Lotus secret treasure. Hua, who was teaching Desert Dragon Zaka about ladder-like manners, suddenly felt a jolt throughout her body. She hugged Zaka and flew up into the sky, landing on the roof of the White Lotus Sword Palace. They both looked up in astonishment at the swirling lights in the sky. From that moment on, People started to pay attention to the signs of the White Lotus secret treasure reappearing in the world. Surrounded by a spiral of colorful light, the twin witches held hands. Looking down at the White Lotus sword domain, they saw a large white sphere floating behind them. Both of them had reluctant expressions on their faces. When they noticed a certain watchdog on the ground, the big white sphere even twisted its body, as if mumbling something. The spiral lights in the sky spread out, almost enveloping the entire White Lotus sword domain. At that moment, the parents who had bought houses and moved their children into the White Lotus sword domain were truly lucky. They had encountered a once-in-a-millennium miracle. White Lotus and Red Lotus looked at each other and nodded together. The moment has come, the twin witches must fulfill their mission. Long ago, Yunhai the Sky Sword and the Divine Witches made a promise. The Divine Witches of the White Lotus sword domain exist to protect the White Lotus secret treasure. By taking care of the projected image of the White Lotus secret treasure and secretly collecting many books, Yunshi nurtures the petals of the sacred tree Linjia. All of this is for the awakening of the sacred tree Linjia. For some reason, the previously active sacred tree Linjia had fallen into silence, but starting from yesterday, it suddenly became highly lively. The Linjia flowers, which still had some time before blooming, unbelievably entered a fully mature stage. Now, the countdown to the blooming of the flowers has begun. The large white light sphere representing the projection of the White Lotus secret treasure proactively contacted the twin witches, who serve as guardians, to begin the ceremony for opening the White Lotus secret treasure. Wearing a red witch's outfit, Red Lotus and White Lotus, dressed in a white witch's outfit, held hands as the maple leaf patterns on their sleeves extended and turned into an invisible chain that bound this pair of twin sisters. The large white ball of light jumped and suddenly split into two halves, each merging into the bodies of the twin witches. Back to back, holding hands, the twin witches' gaze suddenly became ethereal, signaling the arrival of an ancient promised time. The great beings have awakened in this era. The witches of destiny declare and execute. Like a gentle swaying sadness, endless entangled memories. The sadness that has been dormant here is about to awaken, turning into pale tears and cries. The thread that connected the two intertwined and turned into a larger spiral. Your confusion. Your longing. Your memories. Your soul. All confirmed to exist here. But waiting for you is an eternal illusion that cannot be spoken of, heard, or seen. Only those who have completed the journey of time and fulfilled the unforgivable wishes of the lost can see the truth of everything. Dust returns to dust, earth returns to earth. Only the soul remains eternally, unseen but everywhere. When the White Lotus blooms, all gods step aside. Pray, for the seeds have been planted and all things begin to grow. Those who find the twin witches will find the door to the hidden treasure. Those who defeat the twin witches will obtain the petals of the treasure. The door has been opened, and the treasure belongs only to those chosen by fate. With the announcement of the twin witches, beams of pure white light descended from the sky, as if washed by the river of time. Everyone who touched the light heard that voice. It was the divine sound that unlocked wisdom. It was the heavenly melody that shook souls. That is a blessing from the sacred tree Linjia. Those who receive the blessing will naturally see different symbols in their minds. For every chime of the White Lotus secret treasure they hear, there will be a corresponding symbol in the runes. The simplest one is just a lonely triangle or a circle. But for those who have the talent for 5 or 6 tones, they will receive a 5-point star, a hexagon, or a 5-ring or 6-ring symbol. Hua Hua has runes composed of a total of 10 rings. Yunshi has incredible runes with 13 circles and a complex overlapping pattern of 12 pentagrams, which are the most complete and closest to the shape of Linjia petals. Is this a mark? Yunshi observed the runes that suddenly appeared in his mind and felt an unprecedented sense of immense wisdom from them. Compared to the first blessing he received from the White Lotus secret treasure, this one was simply insignificant. Yes, in 3 days, the White Lotus secret treasure will open. The twin witches appeared together in front of Yunshi, each looking at him with different expressions. White Lotus had a sweet and affectionate gaze, filled with tender love that could melt hearts. Red Lotus had a hostile look, expressing strong animosity towards me for the first time so explicitly. To obtain the White Lotus secret treasure, one must gain the approval of the witches. You are one of the chosen seeds for the White Lotus secret treasure. From now on, we are enemies. Red Lotus stared at Yun-Shi with a predatory gaze, as if sensing a formidable opponent. What rank is your mark? 4th rank. 5th rank. Clearly, Red Lotus couldn't determine the limit of the runes on Yun-Shi's body. The rank of the mark for the White Lotus secret treasure is determined based on the affinity and talent one has for it. At the moment, the highest rank known is Hua Hua, who is recognized as the strongest swordsman of the White Lotus Sword Palace. She has a rank of 10. Yun-Shi hesitated, unsure if he should mention that he has a rank of 13 for the White Lotus secret treasure. Seems like this rank is very high, huh? I will deal with you in 3 days, said Red Lotus, looking at the plum in front of her. It has never been much of a match. The only person who can be called a strong enemy is just one. The owner of the plum, Hua Hua, has limitless potential and is completely beyond comparison. If anyone can pass the Twin Witches test and obtain the White Lotus secret treasure, it would be Hua Hua. But first, she must defeat the Twin Witches. Only those who find the Twin Witches are qualified to see the White Lotus secret treasure. Only those who defeat the Twin Witches are qualified to obtain the White Lotus secret treasure. Red Lotus, who has been given the task of guarding the final level of the White Lotus secret treasure, is now determined to fulfill her duty as a divine witch. She is filled with fighting spirit. Chapter 921. The Candy-Giving Girl. On this day, many people were filled with joy. Likewise, many people were filled with sadness and despair. Those who received the blessings of the White Lotus secret treasure swore to seize this opportunity to challenge the seemingly unattainable Twin Witches. The ones who truly understood the power of the Twin Witches started preparing various resources and making plans. They were willing to do anything, using all means necessary, to go all out for the White Lotus secret treasure. The announcement of the impending battle for the White Lotus secret treasure, set to begin in 3 days, quickly disappeared from people's sight and entered the wild area of the Sword Zone. Anyone who possessed the mark held a glimmer of hope as they ventured into the originally dangerous Sword Zone in pairs. Many people took a gamble, hoping to take advantage of the situation. The powerful children of prestigious families began to enlist the help of their families and even managed to gather a considerable number of hero-ranked experts within the short span of 3 days. If it wasn't for the short 3-day time limit, more powerful heroes would have entered the White Lotus Sword domain. The heroes who were already adventuring in the White Lotus Sword domain were in high demand and even fought over. Yun-Shi, mingling in the crowd, shook his head as he watched the wealthy youngsters go almost completely crazy. Whatever these people said, it was all to curry favor with White Lotus and Red Lotus. Yun-Shi had personally experienced the terrifying power of the Twin Witches in the world of the ancient dragons. Of course, besides their unexpected power, Yun-Shi was also very familiar with the warmth of their skin and the softness of their bodies. Due to this incident, the activities in the White Lotus Sword Palace were temporarily suspended. Many disciples of the White Lotus Sword Palace, who were also bearers of the White Lotus mark, joined in the competition for the White Lotus secret treasure. For a moment, the entire White Lotus Sword domain was filled with an atmosphere of anticipation. The Twin Witches, who were guarding the White Lotus secret treasure, instantly became the targets of everyone's attacks. Many arrogant and oblivious nobles clearly did not regard Red Lotus, who has never left the White Lotus Sword domain, and White Lotus as important. They all seemed confident and pleased, as if the White Lotus secret treasure was already in their grasp. Why did the White Lotus secret treasure appear so quickly? I had only taken a petal. Among everyone, perhaps only Yun-Shi was greatly puzzled by the sudden appearance of the White Lotus secret treasure. In the ancient dragon world, the petal he used was not a fake. It was a divine object capable of speaking believable lies that could deceive the entire world. But this time, when the White Lotus secret treasure appeared again, the Linjia flower was completely intact, with not a single missing petal. Could the Linjia flower really grow so quickly? What happened in such a short period of time? Oh, would you like some candy? Just as Yun-Shi was pondering, feeling that something was amiss, A friendly voice rang in his ears. Candy. Yoon-shi looked at the girl in a cape in front of him, with only half of her face visible. The girl held a basket full of candy in her hands and smiled at Yoon-shi, exuding an irresistibly cute aura. Yes, here are delicious candies, for free, no money needed. Give me a piece, and give me one too. This candy is really good, very sweet. The people around naturally took the girl's candies and enjoyed them eagerly. Aren't you going to eat? The candies from my home are amazing. The girl, who noticed that Yoon-shi was the only one who hadn't eaten any candy, took out a square candy that emitted a sweet fragrance and looked at him expectantly. This candy, the quality is too high. As a hero-ranked baker, Yoon-shi was surprised to discover that this square candy had reached a staggering 4th rank. This is a magical candy. A small piece can make a person full of energy and filled with a sense of happiness. The effect of this candy is comparable to the highest level bread that he can make now, using the most special bread in his hero-ranked collection. Giving away this candy for free, isn't that too generous, young girl? Won't you go bankrupt? Delicious, delicious. Give me another piece. How much is this? I'll take 10 pieces. It's so sweet, I've never had such a delicious candy in my life. Similar to Yoon-shi, almost everyone who has tasted this candy has been captivated by its tempting sweetness. 1 piece for 3 coins, no need to fight, there are plenty more. The girl smiled at the people around her, like a smiling angel, handing out valuable high-quality candies one by one. Yoon-shi could feel the happiness emanating from the girl as she handed out the candy. She's a good girl, Yoon-shi thought. Aren't you going to eat? After nearly emptying the candy basket, the girl noticed that Yoon-shi was still studying his piece of candy and showed no intention of eating it. What is this candy made of? Yoon-shi, a hero-ranked baker, suffered from his professional ailment because he discovered that this candy was made with ingredients he had never known before. This candy had a slightly blackish squid ink color, but it emitted a delicious honey-like aroma that completely shattered Yoon-shi's understanding. So, there were candies like this in the world. Well. The girl suddenly became hesitant and seemed embarrassed to talk about the ingredients used to make this candy. For some reason, the candy that only Yoon-shi received had a slightly different color from the others. Just by smelling it, Yoon-shi could sense the fragrance contained within, which seemed to be somewhat similar to the scent on Elise, the woman. I have something better, would you like it? Yoon-shi's interest in the girl seemed particularly high, and he was very enthusiastic in giving out candy. Something better? Better than this? Yoon-shi widened his eyes. These were already 4th-ranked candies, were there even higher quality ones? As the soul of a hero-ranked baker, his passion burned. He had never seen candies of this quality in his life. Wait a moment. The girl ran to a place where Yoon-shi couldn't see, then covered her cherry-like mouth with her hand. Yeah. A faint sound churned in the girl's throat, then gathered together. Goo. In no time, a square candy with a mysterious and tempting aura, shimmering in a dark light, appeared in the girl's snow-white little hand. Compared to the candies she gave to others, this square candy was clearly 2 levels higher, and it was still hot. The one earlier didn't seem enough. Then, let's use this ultimate battle weapon. In this world, no one can resist the candy I give out. After exerting great effort to create a 5th-rank, super soft candy, the girl's eyes became even more confident. Here, the best candy. Running all the way to Yoon-shi's side, the girl's smile was exceptionally bright. Chapter 922, Exchange Gulp. Seeing the black candy in the cloak girl's hand, which seemed to emit a hint of heat, Yoon-shi couldn't help but swallow his saliva. With the professional eye of a hero-ranked baker, he swore that this was definitely a 5th-rank candy. At the same time, it was the most delicious thing he had ever seen in his life. The profession of a hero-ranked life occupation was already rare, even the 4th-level magic cookies from the colossal 10-leaf alliance were in short supply. A 5th-rank candy could be a life-saving item when necessary. Eat, it's free. The girl in the cloak tempted Yoon-shi with a look that said, this is a free treat. Oh, this is too precious. Whether it's candy of rank 4 or rank 5, they are things that money can't buy. Yoon-shi himself is a skilled baker of hero-ranked pastries. It takes a lot of effort to make golden cream pastries of rank 4. There's no way this rank 5 candy in front of him could be a free gift. Speaking of which, the candy given to others just now were all high-quality ones starting from rank 3, and some even approached rank 4. Who is this rich and generous young lady, giving out free treats here? No. It's just cheap candy. I have lots of them at home. The girl in the cloak told a white lie. If She weren't a skilled baker himself, he might have actually believed her. Correction. This is not just rich, it's like being as wealthy as a country. The 5th-tier candy is so generous, giving it away to others is quite impressive. How about I trade bread, wine, and you? She follows his principles and never takes advantage of others' things for free. Well, that's okay as long as I get to eat the candy. The Cape girl laughed like a child. Then, I'll trade these 4th-tier golden cream bread and some fine wine. She really wanted those 2 candies. Exchanging 4th-tier candy for 4th-tier golden cream bread is a fair trade. Hydera's poisoned wine in exchange for a 5th-tier candy may seem like a loss for him, but she really wanted that 5th-tier candy, so he had to let it go reluctantly. This bread is nice. The Cape girl sniffed She's golden cream bread and had a surprised expression. For some reason, she felt like she didn't seem very happy. This drink. She received the cup of poison from Hydera, shimmering with a mesmerizing green color. The cloak-wearing girl couldn't help but gasp and cover her mouth. It's the legendary elixir of the gods. It was a scream filled with disbelief and astonishment, simply beyond one's imagination. Oh my! Oh my! The girl's voice sounded panicked as she ran out in a frenzy and crashed into the nearby makeshift camp, making strange noises like clatter. Clatter. She looked at the girl, who fled in haste, with a perplexed expression. She seemed to have suffered a great loss. This transaction, it was clearly in her favor. Gulp. Ooh. Oh my. Oh my. The cloak-wearing girl covered her mouth as a sweet-smelling liquid kept pouring out from her small mouth. In front of her, there was a gigantic magic circle. 8 strange and wicked tentacles extended from the magic circle, continuously delivering power from an indescribable world. Specially crafted candies appeared on the magic circle, the very ones that the cloak-wearing girl had sent out. Originally, everything was orderly, but now the enchantment, with a touch of eerie beauty, was spiraling into chaos. The 8 black tentacles were twisting and tangling, some even forming a heart-shaped knot that exuded a girlish aura. The reason for this turmoil was that among the offerings presented, there were some exceptionally dangerous things. Hydera's poisoned wine, even in the era of gods, was considered the highest quality and perfect offering. Both the gods of justice and the evil deities loved this deadly drink. Moreover, the Hydera poison wine brought forth by she had been brewed since ancient times. Just a single drop could kill millions of creatures, more than sufficient to serve as a medium for summoning the true form of an evil deity. So, the cloak girl who exchanged poison wine for candy with She has completed a contract that is absolutely not of equal value. Normally, this would be a highly profitable transaction, but the cloak girl is not a normal human. She is a spokesperson who came here with a certain mission. Giving out free candy isn't just about being wealthy enough to not care about these candies, it's for a hidden purpose. Those who eat her candy are connected to an indescribable existence, planting the seeds for that one's arrival. This is a contract between candy and another world. Those who eat the candy will hear indescribable voices, gradually drawing closer to another world. No one could have imagined that in this world, there would be someone foolish enough to exchange a godlike fine wine for a mere 5th-grade candy. The cause and effect of the contract have been reversed. Now, it was the cloaked girl's turn. She had to give something equal in exchange, otherwise the contract would be broken and the guardians of the Sky Sword God's domain would find out, which would be a big problem. I'll give you candy, more candy, isn't that enough? As the one who initiated the contract, the cloaked girl had to chew her own saliva and work hard to make candy. These were not mass-produced candies, each one was a masterpiece, a 5th-rank candy with a hint of divine power, carefully handmade by the girl's true form from the other world. Here you go. Remember to eat them all. Holding a pile of candies almost half her height, the cloaked girl stopped She from leaving. So many. Yunxi looked at the pile of black candies that looked freshly made, completely astonished. Altogether there are 1,008 pieces, 1,000 pieces are level 5, and 8 pieces are level 6. The cloak girl forcefully put the candy, piled into a pointed top, into Yunxi's hands. Remember, I am Su, the candy-loving Su. In the future, we will definitely meet again. If there is more of that divine wine, feel free to come find me for candy. After saying that, the cloak girl happily walked away with light steps, carrying a fruit basket to continue her distribution of rewards. Do you want candy? Sweet and delicious candy, oh. It's free and tasty, no money needed. After the cloak girl left, Parfu crawled out from Yunxi's chest, then suddenly expanded its body, swallowing all the black candies, catching Yunxi off guard. Chapter 923, Yunxi's determination. Parfu, you can't eat things randomly. Parfu, quickly spit it out. Yunxi watched in astonishment as Parfu swallowed all the black candies in one go. In a land not far away, there was a sweet little creature named Parfu. Parfu loved candies, especially the big black ones. One day, Parfu found a pile of candies that were even larger than his own size. But to everyone's surprise, he ate them effortlessly. It was as if there was a hidden hollow inside Parfu's belly, where all the candies disappeared. Yunxi, a kind-hearted person, called out to Parfu. Covered in lush green, Parfu hid in Yunxi's embrace, refusing to return the candies he had devoured. Yunxi gently rubbed and squeezed Parfu, trying to coax him. Eventually, Parfu reluctantly gave back one black candy, still craving for more. It seemed like these black candies had captured Parfu's heart. He intended to keep them as his precious collection. Yunxi, understanding Parfu's love for the candies, decided to give up persuading him. However, Yunxi reminded Parfu, remember, don't be too greedy. Only one candy a day, okay? We still need to study these black candies. This is the first time Yunxi has gotten candies of the 5th and 6th rank. Of course, Hydera's poisonous wine doesn't count. The divine wine of the gods is on a whole different level. There's no possibility of studying it. It's a special product belonging only to Hydera. She's really kind-hearted. After thinking for a moment, Yunxi understood why the girl in the cape gave him this pile of candies. She's unexpectedly a good girl, not trying to take advantage of him at all. Yawn. Soda, who was busy handing out candies, sneezed and looked around, confused. Well, never mind, the candy business is more important. There are a lot of people coming today to eat Soda's candies. If things continue like this, it's only a matter of time before they rule the world. After experiencing this seemingly unimportant little incident, Yunxi began to observe more deeply and understand the appearance of the White Lotus secret treasure this time. White Lotus Sword Palace has completely closed down. The disciples who possess the talent for White Lotus secret treasure, in accordance with their different backgrounds and influences, automatically formed different teams and set off towards the area of the sword. At the same time, the formal appearance of White Lotus secret treasure caused the housing prices in the surrounding area of White Lotus sword domain to skyrocket. The owners of these houses are aristocrats from various prestigious families in God's domain. They bought these houses in anticipation of the emergence of White Lotus secret treasure. The legendary White Lotus secret treasure is said to be a divine object that can unlock wisdom and enhance talent. The facts have proven that the legends are not baseless. The flowers of sacred tree Linjia appeared in the sky and released the blessings of wisdom in the form of a melodious sound. It does not discriminate against any race or background. Except for a few individuals whose talents have been exhausted and can no longer progress, the majority of people have heard the sound of the bell representing wisdom and enlightenment. From the lowest innate talent to the legendary highest tenfold talent, the wise voice of the White Lotus secret treasure acts like a filter, automatically selecting the most talented and promising group of individuals within the White Lotus sword domain. These young people, who have been blessed by the White Lotus secret treasure, are convinced that they are the chosen ones. With unwavering confidence and the full support of their families and factions, they eagerly enter the dangerous sword zone. The skyrocketing house prices, which were originally due to the White Lotus secret treasure, collapse overnight with its appearance. Many businessmen, who were planning to make a fortune by holding onto the houses that were still under construction and unsold, go bankrupt and jump off buildings. Of course, the true aristocrats and noble families do not care about such things. Their goal is unprecedented. Find the priestess. Defeat the priestess. Gain recognition from the legendary White Lotus secret treasure. Even if you're just a commoner who's not from a noble family, as long as you show your talent, an organization will immediately come and invite you to join the search for the White Lotus secret treasure. All the major forces who have detailed information about the Twin Witches' power have urgently gathered experts from other gods' domains to help their own teams seize the White Lotus secret treasure. Unfortunately, this plan quickly failed because these forces soon discovered that the sword area of the White Lotus sword domain was covered by a special rule. Only those who possess the true mark of the White Lotus secret treasure can unleash their power in this area. Heroes who haven't obtained the mark of the White Lotus secret treasure will instantly see their strength drop to a very low level and won't be able to fully harness their true power when they enter this sword area. The sword area of the White Lotus sword domain has truly become a mysterious place. From outside the White Lotus sword domain, everything in that area is shrouded in mist, making all the information and calculations obsolete. On the outskirts of the misty area, organizations from other forces can set up camps and provide logistical support, but once they enter the depths of the mist, it becomes nearly impossible to proceed without the mark of the White Lotus secret treasure. Yunshi stayed in the outskirts for 3 days, which turned the whole White Lotus sword domain upside down. Countless merchants went bankrupt and some even resorted to jumping off buildings. A constant flow of resources from various gods' domains is transported through the star bridge of the Sky Tower. Originally, there were only a few rare hero-ranked experts in the White Lotus sword domain, but now there are hundreds of them. A small number of hero-ranked experts who were already in the White Lotus sword domain and obtained the mark of the White Lotus have become highly sought after by all the influential and noble families, who are willing to do anything to compete for them. It looks like I have no choice but to go in. Yunshi spent 3 days wandering around the camp on the edge of the White Lotus Sword Palace. Finally, he made up his mind. The once peaceful life in the White Lotus Sword Palace was never the same again after the emergence of the White Lotus secret treasure. Yunshi, feeling the change in fate, finally remembered that he had been on the run all along. The emergence of the White Lotus secret treasure caused the White Lotus Sword Palace to almost completely fall apart. The disappearance of the Twin Witches represented the chaos that had engulfed the entire White Lotus sword domain. In this situation, Yunshi had a vague premonition that he was being drawn into a whirlpool. To be honest, he himself was not particularly interested in the White Lotus secret treasure, Linjia. Therefore, he couldn't understand why others were so crazily obsessed with it. Compared to the White Lotus secret treasure, perhaps what he cared more about were the Twin Witches, the White Lotus, and Red Lotus. How should I say it? It's a feeling that you can't just ignore, and meeting them can be said to be the starting point of changing one's own destiny. They were bound by the White Lotus secret treasure and became the guardians of the White Lotus secret treasure. Red Lotus, especially, had a hostile expression towards him. However, Yunshi always felt that there was something hidden in White Lotus' hesitant eyes when they finally met. Chapter 924. Disguise. Since he had decided to participate in the trial of the White Lotus secret treasure, he needed to be fully prepared. Observing the various camps established in the area of the sword body and the edge of the sword tip under the identity of Mai, Yunshi finally chose a camp that he was somewhat familiar with. The Great Xia, where Xia Ling, the princess of the Great Xia, was located, was one of the strongest forces among the swordsmen who originated from the White Lotus Sword Palace. The Sky Sword God's domain, where the sword is revered, is the sacred domain located at the top of the pyramid among the many sword domains in the Great Xia. Xia Ling herself is the most talented swordsman in this White Lotus secret treasure trial, besides her childhood friend Hua Hua. Yunshi decided to hide his identity and join the princess of the Great Xia's camp. This was a carefully considered choice, as if talent was the only factor, his childhood friend would be the strongest. However, Yunshi's goal this time is the Twin Witches, and he feels that if he travels with Hua Hua, they might end up in a bad situation. Traveling with the Star Wings Knights as Mai is also an option, but Yunshi decided to go on this journey alone. The premature appearance of the White Lotus secret treasure gave Yunshi a sense of danger, as if his peaceful life was about to end. This sense of danger led Yunshi to decide to take on the trial of the White Lotus secret treasure completely on his own. The Star Wings Knights of today are like young saplings just sprouting leaves, in need of careful nurturing. It is not the right time to hastily join the White Lotus secret treasure trial. Since I have decided to act alone, I cannot use the identity of the greatsword made nor my true identity as Yunshi. Fortunately, there are so many people entering the White Lotus sword domain this time, making it very easy to disguise our identities. Most factions do not question one's background. As long as they are sure you have the mark of obtaining the White Lotus secret treasure, they will warmly welcome you to join. Due to the uniqueness of this White Lotus secret treasure trial, even cannon fodder is in high demand. Without the mark of the White Lotus secret treasure, one doesn't even qualify to be cannon fodder. And so, Yunshi began his solo mission. Elise, are you not finished yet? Since a while ago, Yunshi has been having his own heavenly demon help him with his disguise. It has been half an hour, and it seems Elise is still not done. Just pretending, because the princess of the Great Shia doesn't know who Yunshi is, so why would it take so long? Not yet, master, don't worry, Elise said excitedly, making small gestures on Yunshi. Summoned out of the heavenly demon realm, it's rare to have the chance, and unless she completes the goal with 300% effort, she won't be the starry celestial demon. Enchantress's charm. The wisdom of Saint Demon, the power of Azura, the mystery of Impermanent. At this moment, Elise wasn't alone in the battle. The power of the heavenly demon gave her unprecedented confidence and determination. The task of disguising the master must be completed perfectly beyond the target. About an hour later, Yunshi looked at the mirror and saw a charming and unparalleled young man, with a questioning expression on his face. Who is this person? With fair skin that almost exceeds the boundaries of gender, dark and bewitching eyes, and a hint of untamed and exotic aura, this doesn't seem like the ordinary appearance he asked Elise for. If this is what you call ordinary, then everyone must be blind. Well, master, you said you wanted something ordinary. For heavenly demons like me, this is quite normal, said Elise as she pulled on Yunshi's hair. His black hair slowly grew longer, even without the disguise of the greatsword maid. Yunshi's hair reached his waist and was almost touching the floor. And yet, Elise still found it insufficient. She stuck out her tongue and gently licked Yunshi's hair. Soon, the 3,000 strands of hair became as black and shiny as his eyes, full of a demonic charm. Hey, this is going too far, Yunshi exclaimed as he looked in the mirror at the boy with almost floor-length black hair and wearing white clothes. He looked nothing like himself. This aura, this appearance, where did this enchanting person come from? From head to toe, this disguise had nothing to do with the word ordinary. Perhaps only creatures like heavenly demons would consider this ordinary. This is the best disguise, my master, said Elise. She was lost in her masterpiece, and if it wasn't for Yunshi insisting on being ordinary, she planned on incorporating some of Enchantress characteristics into it. A disguise, this is a bit too flashy, Yunshi touched his face. The touch of his skin felt real, and the power of the heavenly demon was truly incredible, reaching the level of being indistinguishable from reality. Not at all flashy, master. You already have the qualities for this. Elise felt that this posture hadn't fully showcased Yunshi's charm. After all, the master was someone who could form contracts with 4 high-ranking heavenly demons at the same time, even being able to control Impermanent as well. This appearance was just a partial representation of the master's true power. What the heavenly demon excelled at was uncovering the hidden side of human nature, that which nobody else knew. Well, I'll reluctantly accept this. Yunshi eventually agreed to Elise's adjustments. In the end, as long as the disguise was unrecognizable to anyone, it would be fine. At least, now he doesn't even recognize himself, and the princess of the Great Shia is probably the same. Next, it's about identity and weapons. Yunshi, while asking Elise to tie up his black hair behind him, began to search for an identity and style from the memories of the killing princess that could disguise himself. Coincidentally, in the memories of the killing princess, there was a great sword maid who came from the Sky Sword God's domain and looked somewhat similar to him now. The great sword made possessed the cursed sword 100 ghosts from the ghost sword domain, which was second only to the bloody waltz among the great sword maids. Among all the great sword maids, this great sword made from the ghost sword domain was also an exception, just like the killing princess. She always loved wearing a snow-white sword dress and used the curved cursed sword to slay demon human. The swordsmen from the ghost sword domain believe in the fate that everyone eventually dies, but death is not the end, it is just the beginning. That's why they never fear death in battle. In the history of the ghost sword domain, there was once the Sky Sword, who was the legendary owner of the ghost sword. The divine sword, ghost sword, symbolizes death and supernatural creatures. It is said that when this divine sword is wielded, it will open the gate between reality and the underworld, summoning endless ghostly creatures. The 100 Ghost Sword is one of the manifestations of the ghost sword, leaving a very impressive impression on the killing princess. Now, Yunshi begins to create the 100 Ghost Sword. The sword is 2 meters long. The curve and thickness of the sword's blade. Endless mist churns around Yunshi, and the figures of young bride-like girls start to appear, helping Yunshi forge this fake and non-existent 100 Ghost Sword. This is one of the abilities possessed by Yunshi as the White Emperor, the miraculous power derived from the Million Bride Army. Chapter 925. The Mist Ghost Sword. The final completed 100 Ghost Sword was almost identical to what the killing princess remembered. This won't do. Yunshi looked at the counterfeit god weapon crafted by his Million Bride Army, and it was too similar to the original, which wasn't a good thing. The god weapon known as the 100 Ghost Sword was very famous, one of the legends of the ghost sword domain. Let's make a few more modifications. Yunshi touched the blade of this 2-meter-long curved sword with his fingertips, and a layer of misty fog began to appear on the edge of the blade. This fog didn't come out of nowhere, it was the embodiment of Yunshi's mist spirit army. More precisely, this counterfeit god weapon was condensed from the fog created by the Million Bride Army. By using the unique commands of the White Emperor, the originally ethereal mist was condensed and compressed within the confines of a sword. This was the miracle that the Mist Spirit Army had accomplished for Yunshi. Alright, this will do. Named the Mist Ghost Sword. Yunshi was very satisfied with this fake god weapon, it would be enough to disguise his identity. Anyone who sees this sword wrapped in mist would believe it to be a top-quality spiritual weapon with mysterious powers, and in reality, it was indeed so. After obtaining the miraculous power of the Million Bride Legion from the Water God's trial, it finally started to unleash its power in the hands of Yunshi. The Mist Ghost Sword has similar characteristics to the legendary Ghost Sword and 100 Ghost Sword. While the Ghost Sword and 100 Ghosts Sword summon all sorts of demons from the underworld, the Mist Ghost Sword summons the clones of Yunshi's Million Bride Legion. In other words, when Yunshi swings the Mist Ghost Sword, misty girls elegantly appear. These are the Fog Spirit Legion responding to Yunshi's summons. Everything is ready, it's time to take action. Adjusting his black hair, Yunshi looked at himself in the mirror. With his hair tied up in a ponytail and dressed in white like snow, he felt a sense of transformation. Master, I wish you good luck in your martial journey. Elise kissed Yunshi's dark long hair and disappeared among the long threads of worries with a satisfied expression on her face. Walking on the street, Yunshi could feel eyes staring at him from all directions. That person is so beautiful. Is it a man or a woman? How can I take care of my skin to look like that? Oh my, do we have someone like that in the White Lotus Sword domain? No, absolutely not. If we did, I would definitely know. Sorry, I am just a simple native of the White Lotus Sword domain. Yunshi shook his head helplessly. This simple action caused many girls to scream. It seems that it's not just girls, but also some male voices. Sometimes, beauty is truly a characteristic that transcends race and gender. When Yunshi arrived at the camp where the princess of the Great Shia was, he noticed that there were a group of curious girls following him, unaware of the truth. Who goes there? A squad of guards from the Great Shia Kingdom stood in front of Yunshi, looking at him with suspicion, as if he wasn't human. His extraordinary appearance was stunning. I want to join the princess of the Great Shia's team. Yunshi looked at the tall and strong guards. Even the weakest among them were at the level of elite warriors, and their leader was a true hero-ranked expert. Having a hero-ranked expert as the leader of a small team truly showed that the Great Shia was the most powerful domain in the Sky Sword God's domain. Are you the holder of the White Lotus secret treasure? The leader of the squad looked at Yun Shi with doubt and gave a direct order. Hand over your weapon. Submit to our inspection. Yun Shi shook his head. If he was easily restrained here, then there was no point in choosing to join the princess of the Great Shia's faction. Yun Shi gripped the mist ghost sword on his back. The sword, wrapped in mist, emerged from its sheath, leaving behind a mysterious and ethereal trail. Even without using the sword techniques passed down by the killing princess, Yun Shi's swordsmanship had reached a level that ordinary people couldn't imagine. As he unleashed the sky-flying sword, Yun Shi saw a world belonging to the divine swords. Although he hadn't fully mastered the power of divine sword techniques, having experienced the world of divine swords, Yun Shi's swordsmanship had already reached an awe-inspiring level. However, he had always compared himself to his invincible childhood friend, Hua Hua. Therefore, he never realized the extraordinary level of his swordsmanship. At least, as a hero-ranked team leader, equipped with the special bright sword armor from the Great Shia dynasty, Yun Shi couldn't even react before his armor was sliced open. As for the other members of the royal guard, they couldn't even see and were defeated. Ah! The young captain gasped heavily, looking at the sword mark on his chest plate, where the bright sword armor, made of meteorite iron, had been cut through. Shia, who had been a captain of the royal guard in the Great Shia dynasty for 30 years, and this was the first time he had seen such a cold and deadly sword technique. As a fourth-rank, he couldn't even counterattack, and could only watch helplessly as the terrifying sword mark crossed his chest. Just an inch more, and it would be a fatal wound. It was terrifying, so terrifying, this almost Dao-like sword skill. Now, can you let me in? Yun Shi had no choice but to ask, as he needed to disguise his identity. He chose the sword style and techniques of the Ghost Sword domain. Swordsmen from the Ghost Sword domain were often seen as cold and mysterious. Even the great sword made in the killing princess's memory was a true ice-cold beauty. This is about the type of swordsmanship they practice. The swordsmanship of the Ghost Sword domain is related to the underworld, and they often deal with creatures from the underworld. Being involved with the underworld for a long time, they will inevitably take on an otherworldly aura. Choosing this style and identity was a carefully considered decision by Yun Shi. As long as he plays the role of a hero-ranked swordsman from the Ghost Sword domain, he won't have too much contact with others. Reducing contact with others allows him to act alone better, without revealing his true identity. The swordsmanship of the Ghost Sword domain? Just as Yun Shi expected, after he demonstrated the mysterious swordsmanship of the Ghost Sword domain, he quickly caught the attention of the team's leader. Xia Ling is the princess of the Great Shia. The holder of the Twin Dragon Sword is a wielder of the god weapon. In this trial for the White Lotus secret treasure, he is considered one of the most promising geniuses to obtain it. Why, someone as skilled as you, come to our place instead of joining the team from the Ghost Sword domain? Xia Ling could clearly recall that among the teams competing for the White Lotus secret treasure, there was one that came directly from the Ghost Sword domain and carried its true teachings. Yin Su, a female swordsman ranked third in the White Lotus Sword Palace, was one of the holders of the Ghost Sword, a fragment of the Sky Sword. Chapter 926, Xia Jie Ghost Sword was one of the top swords in the Sky Sword God's domain. It was a very special god weapon. Legend has it that this sword had a nearly 3-meter-long blade, and when swung, it would attract endless evil spirits and even turn a whole world into the underworld. At the same time, the Ghost Sword was one of the very few god weapons that had a split form. The 100 Ghost Sword was one of the split forms of the Sky Sword's Ghost Sword, and it was said that there were not just one, but 12 of them. When the 1200 Ghost Swords were gathered, they could summon the Ghost Moon, opening the gate between reality and the underworld, allowing ancient spirits to descend into the mortal world. The Night of 100 Ghosts was one of the origins of the 100 Ghost Sword, and the Ghost Sword was the divine blade that ruled over this night. Xia Ling saw Yun Shi's sword, and the ethereal, almost elusive sword light. She had never seen such a strange and frightening sword in anyone's hands before. In her eyes, there was a momentary blank when observing Yunshi's sword. It seemed that in that instant, Yunshi's sword disappeared. By the time the sword mark reappeared, Xia Hu, the captain of the great Xia guards, had already walked back from the gates of the ghost city. I have come for the White Lotus secret treasure. To be precise, for the protection of the twin witches guarding the White Lotus secret treasure, Yunshi got straight to the point, and this straightforward attitude actually made Xia Ling very satisfied. I believe you are the most likely candidate to have come into contact with the White Lotus secret treasure. It wasn't just Yunshi talking nonsense, but Xia Ling was indeed one of the few individuals, apart from her childhood friend and the twin witches, who was closest to the seeds of the White Lotus secret treasure. Her talent, perhaps only second to her childhood friend and the twin witches, was outstanding beyond that level. According to Yunshi's judgment, in the past, the White Lotus Sword Palace was ranked in the top 10, and her strength is probably stronger than the other 9 combined. Using the technique of turning a sword into a spirit, it is an extraordinary sword skill. If Yunshi hadn't known her childhood friend Hua Hua, he felt that he would never have reached the level in which the princess of the Great Xia resides. Your choice is correct, said Xia Ling, gripping the twin dragon sword behind her. Since receiving enlightenment in the heart-asking cabin, Xia Ling's mind has cleared up. She has overcome her past and reaffirmed her life goal. Defeated by Hua Hua's sword, and a crushing defeat at that, her beliefs were once shaken, but after receiving enlightenment, she is no longer lost. In this trial of the White Lotus secret treasure, she is determined to succeed. Welcome to join my team. What is your name? After confirming Yunshi's intentions, Xia Ling is ready to accept this master from the ghost sword domain. No way, I disagree, a loud shout rang out, and the prince of the great Xia, Xia Jie, hurriedly rushed over. It was a crucial moment. We can't let this mysterious creature, which has no distinction between male and female, join our team. Sister, you trust people too much. Arriving with Xia Jie was a whole team dressed in pitch-black armor, their presence even surpassing the imperial guards of the great Xia. They were the strongest legion under the command of Prince Xia Jie, created with astronomical figures, known as the Black Riders. Compared to the imperial guards who protect the princess of the great Xia, they possessed more terrifying power and stronger equipment. Each member was equipped with a dark sword armor of a higher level than the bright sword armor. The strength of their small team alone was enough to sweep through a kingdom. Yunshi, somewhat puzzled, looked at this group of Black Riders and sensed a strange scent emanating from them. They were heroes in a way, but it's doubtful whether they were even human. Their heartbeats were so faint that they could almost be ignored, their breath almost non-existent. Covered from head to toe in pitch-black armor, they resembled moving steel monsters. 1 ton, 2 tons. Yunshi observed the tracks they were stepping on and came to a bewildering conclusion. The weight of the armor on these black knights was measured in tons. This meant that with each step they took, they were carrying a burden 10 times their own weight, or even more. Normally, they moved under the strain of 20 times normal gravity. Once they entered battle, the strength that these black knights could unleash was simply unimaginable. Is this the power of the great Xia, the highest holy domain in the Sky Sword God's domain? You're here again, big brother, Xia Ling grumbled, hands on her hips, looking displeased with her brother Xia Jie's intrusion. As the next heir of the great Xia dynasty, Xia Jie was extremely talented and powerful. His ability to lead armies was unmatched. However, his biggest flaw was being too controlling and overly doting on himself. This time, he suddenly came to the White Lotus sword domain because he heard that she was being bullied. If she hadn't stopped him, he might have taken his own black cavalry army to cause trouble for Hua Hua. She was not the type of person who would shamelessly use her privileges as the princess of the great Xia to regain face after losing. Losing meant losing fair and square. So if she wanted to win, she would win honorably as well. She saw Hua Hua as her target and would not allow her brother to mess around. That Hua Hua is one thing, but this person is absolutely not acceptable. With my black cavalry army, it's a sure thing that you will get the White Lotus secret treasure. There's no need to involve anyone else. Xia Jie glared at Yunshi through gritted teeth. From Yunshi's body, he felt a great danger. This feeling of danger was different from that of Hua Hua, the person he disliked the most in his life, The kind of person who acted like a lady and even wanted to wear makeup like a pretty boy. This kind of person was the most skilled at harming innocent girls who knew nothing about the dangers of the world. His sister must never be with this kind of person. Even if it meant using his power as a ruler, he would make this kid leave. No, this person is here to join my team. Brother, you'd better go back. Xia Ling could barely stand it anymore. Her own brother had become so controlling of her life. She should be able to choose what kind of team she wanted and who could join it. It was her own business. Kid, tell me your name, and let's fight. The more Xia Ling said this, the more Xia Jie disliked Yun Shi. You can only team up with my sister if you can defeat me. Yun Shi, the prince of the Great Xia, and the future owner of the Great Xia Sword Domain, is extremely confident in his own abilities. The armor he wears is a genuine god weapon, and it is a very rare set. Just like the twin dragon sword wielded by his sister, Xia Ling, this set of black flame dragon armor is a god weapon that can only be controlled by those with true dragon blood from the Great Xia. It is proof of the inheritance of the crown princes of the Great Xia throughout history. The bright sword armor of the Imperial Guard of the Great Xia and the black sword armor of the Black Knights are both imitations of this inherited god weapon. At this moment, the black flames in his right hand are burning intensely and roaring. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.